for pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You all had a chance to look at our lengthy agenda. Any additions, corrections, or conflicts of interest? If not, the agenda will stand approved as printed. We'll move on to the reading of the minutes.
I think there are two minutes. June 9th, 2026, Board of Supervisors met at 9 a.m. with Craig Dozart, Chair presiding. Members present were Schultz, Mulbauer, Dozart, Heisen, and Rosberg. Minutes of the previous meeting were read and approved. On motion, the board recognized claims for public health and approved claims for all other departments. Board approved the change of wage for Conservation Department, Auditor's Office, Motor Vehicle, Driver's License, and Treasurer's Office. Recorder's Office, Jeff Schwager, Custodian, and Jason Blanc, Maintenance Employee 3, Engineer's Office. The board approved the change of status and wage for William Blanc, Maintenance Employee 4, in Engineer's Office. A motion was made by Schultz, seconded by Mulbauer, to approve the fiscal year 2026 wages for secondary road administrative assistants. Motion passed unanimously. A motion was made by Hayden, seconded by Schultz, to approve the fiscal year 2026 wages for secondary road bargaining unit employees. Motion passed unanimously. A motion was made by Rosberg, seconded by Hayden, to approve the HIPAA program renewal. Motion passed unanimously. Motion was made by Mulbauer, seconded by Hayden, to approve, excuse me, the cyber liability coverage increase limit to $1 million at $7,011 premium. Motion passed unanimously. The board canvassed the votes cast in the primary election held June 2nd. Republican nominations for county supervisor are Craig Dozart, Kyle Schultz, and Troy Klunder. The Democratic nominations for county supervisor is Dave Mulbauer. The Republican nomination for county treasurer, Sherry Nettermeyer. There were no Democratic nominations for county treasurer. The Republican nomination for county recorder is Sarah Messick. There were no Democratic nominations for county recorder. The Democratic nomination for county attorney is Colin Johnson. There were no Republican nominations for county attorney. Copies of the canvas and abstracts are available in the auditor's office. On motion, duly seconded, the board adjourned at 11:40 a.m. Agendas for the next meeting posted and available at the courthouse on Friday, 4:30 p.m. preceding the next meeting. The next meeting being June 18th. The Board of Supervisors met at 3 p.m. with Craig Dozart, Chair presiding. Members present, Schultz, Dozart, Hayden, and Rosberg. Member absent was Mulbauer. The board canvassed the recount votes cast in the primary election held November 2nd. The Republican nominations for county supervisor are Craig Dozart, Kyle Schultz, and Brian Rank. The Democratic nominations for county supervisor is Dave Mulbauer. I'm not sure we needed that, but that's fine. On motion, duly seconded, the board adjourned at 3:27 p.m. Agendas for the next meeting are posted and available at the courthouse on Friday, 4:30 p.m. Preceding the next meeting.
Kind of amazing how it changed from
one
meeting to the next. Any additions or corrections to the minutes? Approved as read. Thank you, Terry. Move on to supervisor reports. Let's start with Dave.
Okay.
See if he's doing anything for the supervisors.
Yeah. Busy week last week. At our golf tournament, but then the next day we had our ISAC meeting.
Oh, that's right. No.
That was a pretty lengthy one. We met right away, 8:30 in the morning as the executive team, and we discussed the Gold Eagle Award, which we nominated Dan Cohen, Lifetime Conservation. Did a lot of conservation that with me. If you want to see kind of a tough decision, two very, very good candidates. It was Dan Cohen, who we recommended, and then Bill Dunshee. It has their letter recommendations in their bio here, if anybody wants to see it. And then we had meetings the rest of the day till 4. Went over a whole host of things, direction of ISAC, their insurance pool. We talked about the annual conference. They talked about, kind of the changes that they've made with some of their legislative employees, and looking for a new one. So that's in the works. The 99 county tour has been going very, very well. Keep chipping away at visiting counties and getting out there. In between that, I broke away over the lunch hour. We had a Region 12 meeting. Renell Drake and Stephanie were gone, so I zoomed in to get quorum. Region 12, it was pretty much typical meeting. We went over, claims to be paid. It's here if anybody wants to see it. Different loan applications. Bakery on Broadway. Say it. I was at Rachel's office doing it. One thing we did talk about, Gene, they're no longer going to be fiscal aid for DCAT. No longer. Too bad. I think DCAT has some really good programs. DCAT would typically take its decategorization. Molly Scott, these guys are. DCAT would take leftover HHS funds and use them for certain programs throughout the communities that were more locally driven. But that's going away. Region 12 did sell their farm ground next to Region 12. They had right west of the building there. There's a little plot in there. They always rented it out to the FFA there in Carroll. They ended up selling that. Looking at increasing transit fees. Talked about some of the salary increases. Could be like a 5% salary increase across the board, but Region 12 does it by merit based. So that varies depending on the job you're doing. It might be less than that, maybe a little more, but the average is about 5. Then we also, there's a coffee shop in Audubon that we granted some funds to help with some outside treating. Quality Meats in Guthrie that is doing a huge expansion, $850,000. So they are selling left and right.
Twice in a month, I had a cow butcher there and a hog butcher there.
Is that right in Guthrie?
It's just as what is that state street that goes east-west, the highway that runs east-west, what is that from?
44.
Or is that
44.
44? It's on the east side of town, on the north side of that road. Just kind of, you think you're leaving town, but it's right there. They do a really nice job.
They must be doing very well.
Very happy with them.
Definitely wanting to expand.
That's 850,000. That's huge.
Carroll Equipment and Capital, they're looking to expand its B&W fabrication. It's a machine shop by Carroll. So we are seeing some expansion in businesses and utilizing Region 12 for some of those funds. Which is what they're there for.
Exactly.
Otherwise, those were my big meetings for the week. Ty and Craig had to coach me through golfing.
I'm not a good coach.
Okay.
Well, it was a good time. I mean, our golf outing was good. It was for a good cause, for the scholarship for ISAC.
Good turnout.
Good turnout. So,
A little bit of networking. We didn't get a limerick, and even though Grant was there, so I was very disappointed in that.
Yeah, no, he didn't get one, did he?
That's kind of like a tradition where anything where he's at, we get a limerick.
Sounds like he's enjoying retirement.
I think so.
any other questions for Dave? Thank you, sir. Move on to Kyle.
Other than at a meeting up in Cherokee on Friday, and it was had to be the shortest meeting on record up there. Almost wasn't worth the drive up there. That's not much, business as usual. Thanks, Terry, for emailing
Oh,
me
yeah,
that.
you bet.
Got that to Cheryl, the 2080 agreement that we signed to Lahoma County, and so really pretty quiet up there, other than, they're just the normal little hell raisers up there. So they'll grow out of it, maybe.
Really?
Good. Carroll County had to call the Golden Sombrero. They had 6 kids up there.
That's the
Golden
most.
sombrero is what you guys call. I like that.
6 kids from one county in detention at one time, so. But apparently they had some little very active burglary and theft ring that was broke up over there.
Wow.
All juveniles.
Is it a smaller county?
Carroll,
Carol?
I didn't hear.
Yeah, Carol.
Oh.
like 84 counts burglary.
Oh, my,
Yeah.
no, I didn't know the
Ounces
county, I'm
six, so.
sorry.
They were
I had to
busy.
give Eugene a pretty hard time.
And
He was up there?
Yeah.
We need an industrial arts program to turn them enterprising ways into something constructive.
Well, I think you joke about it, but I think, they always said idle hands are the devil's workshop. But I
Sure.
truly think a lot of, part of it is that, and the other part of this whole thing up there is
Just how young people get influenced. I mean, if there's an influencer in that group, there's leaders that can lead
Yeah.
good people to do bad things and bad people to do good things.
Yeah.
And when you're, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, your mind can be warped to think a certain way, depending on how the leader tells you to think.
It is. But the one that we received out of, I think it was out of Turtle Mountain, Indian, 3 counts of murder or attempted murder. So gas station robbery, gone bad, so. Yeah. But, sometimes them, often they're happy to get someplace where they're being taken care of too. And parenting is the other part of the equation up there. There's either lack of it.
Yeah.
So how long, let's just take the 6 from a neighboring county, how long will they be there? Will they get some counseling?
I think they've all been sent to back home or bailed out. I don't want to say we're bailed out, but
Bonded out?
yeah, they're in the process of doing whatever, but they're no longer in detention. So,
Okay,
like a 16-year-old they'll be there till they're adult. So
will be there too.
yeah,
That was with the attempted murder.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a little worse.
right. But so,
Will they go home with, I'm not gonna do that again, attitude, you know what I'm saying? Do they, do they feel like when they send them back home that they're gonna be changed somehow, or how are we gonna change this
I'm gonna
behavior?
speculate. My mom grew up in Carroll County, and I know how her parents were, so I'm guessing the Carroll County parents will take care of this kid.
Okay,
And if they got a probie or if they've got a juvenile detention officer like Nate, he'll find things for them to do.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
But, it goes back, we often forget about this. We talk about all the unfunded mandates. The state used to have training schools and stuff for these kids
Yeah.
that were in, and now they just get locked up in juvenile detention or whatever. So, I mean, our numbers are always consistently high as with juvenile detention facilities across the state. But the state used to provide other avenues of rehabilitation or stuff for these kids, but They closed all that.
What do they do for school while they're up there? I know it's summertime now, but.
Well, because that was a good point. We talked about that because they need to get some new doors on the rooms up there, so it's quite a lengthy deal, but they said, well, we can do it during the day because kids are at class for 8 hours a day. So like 8:30 to whatever they go to school in the facility there.
It's one that's gotta be hard to, I guess, educate, because you don't ever, since they come from maybe all different school districts,
Yeah.
is at what level, I'm 17, you're 17, we're both in math class in algebra, but my teacher might have me doing this, and your teacher might have you doing this, and then you go to something like that, and they try to teach it, and it's like, I've already learned that.
I would imagine.
And it's like, that's totally rare to me. I've never seen that before. I have no idea what you're talking about. Maybe the next person.
I almost have to believe it gotta be on the same press as the old one-room schoolhouse. You had kindergarten through 8th grade on one another.
That's a big,
Kudos
I
to the
just
teacher
remember,
working that out.
going to school here, I've told people, I said my two favorite teachers, Randy Coleman and Don Reddle were my two favorite teachers in high school. But Randy Coleman, he would teach you were learning stuff in a fun way. And I go to college and take ag classes up there, and they ask questions and I know the answer, and kids are going, how do you know that? I'm like, I don't know, I learned in high school. And they're like, I've never heard of that, but Randy prepared you. You didn't know you were being prepared for college. He wanted all of his students to go to college, but he prepared you very, very well. And you didn't know it because you were having fun learning when he was teaching.
I hear that a lot. Randy Koeman was my
Quite a
favorite
compliment to
teacher,
Randy Koeman.
don't you?
Yeah. He was great. He was great.
Well, Warren
But-
said he was pretty
Good
fun
guy
in
in
sport,
general,
too.
and he looks like.
He was what?
It was good when you was like that.
Oh, okay.
He'd get him a cowboy hat.
And he was hard to tackle when we
Thank
played
you, Frank.
football.
I can see that.
Right. I mean, because, our age difference isn't that far apart. Maybe we're 10, 12 years difference in age. So when I was, 16 years old, trying to tackle him, he's 28. As big as Randy was in his cowboy boots. Yeah, he was tough to tackle.
Did you tackle him though?
No, never did. We just tried to whack his hat off. That's about as all we can accomplish. But anyway, anything else, Kyle?
Oh, we did have the help with, I guess I helped with Louise's veterans.
Thank you for doing that. We were out.
Tell you the truth, I didn't, bulk of the help was Terry and her staff and another group. I was more of a liaison.
Calvin's had plenty of people there.
They had the grill well under control.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it was a good event.
it was a good event, well received. Here again, I know, for lack of a better word, the vendors that were there was amazing. They had the whole showroom full of vendors offering services.
Louise does a hell of a job.
She does.
Yeah,
She does.
So
we're really lucky.
Yeah,
The veterans are lucky, Crawford.
and we all know it too.
I
hats
always
off
say
to
everybody can
Louise
be
and
replaced, but I doubt it.
for putting that together, and, I think she did say, I stopped over last and grabbed the mold that need to get back to Staley's, and what did she say? They got 4 or 6 new veterans signed up for service disability training while they were there that day.
Good,
That's an amazing number.
The outreach is working.
good. Good. When I've been going to things, so she was telling me that they just ain't, especially like for our last 2 Afghanistan, operation, over in Iraq, they just aren't coming out right away. And, I wonder, when I out processed at Dick's, when I got out, I had no idea what I was doing. And that benefits the military.
Yeah,
I tell you what, if I was back in as a retention NCO and I knew guys were getting out, I would give them a complete debrief. You claim, if you got a hangnail, you tell them about it when you're getting out. I mean, and a lot of them guys have got, I had some serious problems that I didn't, well, tough, I don't need to worry about that.
There's probably some.
But you know, it's stuff that I incurred from my time in service, you know, and I'm gonna tell you, that's, and they can still go through and you got help like somebody like Louise, you know.
It takes somebody like Louise to get that deal. I mean, it took me 20 some years before I ever, and right away she got me. She's like, hearing loss is the easiest one to get.
Yeah. No,
But I figured the math out for how much money I left on the table for 25 years and not claiming it.
there you go.
My own fault.
Yeah, yeah.
But is it? Nobody, I don't think people don't know, or they're too proud or whatever.
Yeah.
I think for the Vietnam,
Or did that actually cause
Vietnam
it?
guys really especially.
yeah.
Many
They
people
were
have
the
hearing
kind
loss
that
that never served,
Always talk
Correct.
you know.
But I could at least go back to
just don't
through my
even-
hearing test
Once they left, they.
and they pinpointed exactly the biggest share of it was from that time frame. So within a matter of a couple months. But, so, yeah, just getting out and getting people that she's doing what she's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And then some.
And you know, they got a good network, and I think you gotta attribute that to her, a good network of VSOs in our local area and in our other counties. Cause she really works with them. I mean, like Monona County, another one she just trained, you know, I mean, she does a good job of working with them because she wants to help. I mean, we're her vets, so it's important to her. We can't say enough good about it.
Or she takes it personal.
She
Yeah,
does, especially the older ones, as they, you know, when they're in the nursing home, she comes and visits them, and they're her family.
Yeah, they are her family.
She's one of a kind.
That's all.
Gene,
Oh, okay. Seemed like a short week for some reason. I did attend the YMCA membership, or the meeting for YMCA. They usually have that on Tuesdays at noon, and since we didn't have a meeting, I went up to it. So we have a report of their memberships, and so active units are 1,035, and so daily counts. The end of the soft opening, they had 558 people that were going in, that checking in on a daily basis. And it just kind of slowly went up 697, then 755, 817, 870, 951. So every day you're getting more and more people coming through. I actually go up every day at different times just to kind of see, you know, who's up there. And I've never been up there that it doesn't appear to be busy. There are kids playing basketball in the mornings. There, I'll call them the older generation, playing pickleball. The soccer area is always got the soccer tents, and people of all ages are down there kicking it around. They have a little league deal there. What night was it? Like Friday night, that you could not find a place to park. They were over in the bowl parking lot. It's one of the things that I think we're going to see. Maybe we underestimated parking, because there are times if you go around 5:30, you're not going to find a place to park. I always think if you're going there to exercise, if you have to walk a little ways, it should be okay.
Right.
But if it's rainy and
I mean, the
cold,
high school parking lot is there. to
right,
be
it's
used
there. It
If
is.
it's not being
Right,
used by
yes.
a high school event.
Where it's gonna be a real challenge is when they have the hardcore dance performances, because that weekend, people were parking from hardcore up in YMCA. And so parking is gonna be a little bit of an issue if somebody wants to go there during a basketball game possibly. But they have 364 families that pay monthly and 12 that paid annually. And I'll just pass this around.
So you said 1,000, what was the first thing you said, 1,000 members?
1,035 units. I think that would be all of these added together.
Be it single, family,
Right.
corporate, whatever.
That's the way I interpret it.
Okay.
So, but all in all, really things are moving in the right direction. They had bingo on Friday night up there, and so I just happened to go up and see how it was full. And Trevor had gone to different places, you know, some movie pass tickets, and just gone around and got donations for it. There was somebody that followed me in, and well, they don't seem like one that wanted. No, they were going to bingo, so it was kind of kind of a nice event there also. So I think that the Y is working out pretty good for our community. What else? Oh, a lot of
Be interesting to see how that would compare to Atlantic, when Atlantic's wide open, if they got those same type of numbers,
Yeah.
you know.
I think we could probably get those numbers for you. I thought maybe it'd be good to have Trevor come up at some point in time,
Yeah.
and give us kind of an update on the programs and kind of his overall. And when I'm there, did you see that gentleman from the Atlantic Y up there quite often, kind of, checking in and doing things, but it's just amazing how much is usually going on. There's kids, and it's just great to see. There's a certain time in the day where I will not go up there because there's so many kiddos that I only know how to use like 4 machines, and it never fails there on that. And I don't want to be the only lady that goes and says, "Excuse me, that's my machine." So I keep walking around.
Do they have enough spots for all the bikes? Kids riding their bike to that?
We talked about that. That's funny that we talked about getting some more bike stands, but they actually, because so many of them drive either the fat tires or the electric bikes, they still park right by the door. So they don't think, if they got more, than kids would, because of the different kinds of bikes. The other thing that might have been an architectural, when you go in the driveway, there's no sidewalk on the side of it. So the kids are walking up the driveway to get in or riding their bikes. There should be a sidewalk on the side of them. So they're going to talk to the architects and see if that could be something. Because every time I do go, there's somebody walking up the actual where people are coming and going. So, but it was good. But the data center was a conversation I had several people call about their not wanting them in Crawford County, kind of a deal. I know, but really wanted to know why we think we need to have them. And so I put on the agenda today, so hopefully we'll have some people filling in today to have questions. And kind of, people aren't real crazy about them. They just don't understand why. It's just for revenue for the county. They didn't think that was a good enough reason. There we go. Yeah, there we go.
Anything else, Jane?
A lot of things kind of were just miscellaneous stuff, but they'll be on the agenda to talk about.
Okay.
Yep.
Mr. Rosberg.
Okay. I actually had a very busy week. I already got close to my truck. Not all of it counting, but Wednesday, I really enjoyed that. We were able to do even some networking, talking with some people, asking some questions on things like that. So, we had, let's see, next week, Lally will be here to talk about E28E. Last Monday, I went to a meeting with him. And it was just him. I was just there in case DMU had any questions for the county on the reservoir for 28E between county, DMU, and the rural water, Western Iowa rural water. And sounds like both of those boards are happy with the way the 28E.
What do they want that 2080 to say?
It'll just be about coordination. Coordination between us and them to initially what we're doing is just doing the feasibility studies and all that stuff. Now we've already done water needs studies. If you guys remember that. We've already done that, but feasibility, there's a lot to do just in the planning. I mean, we've got this 8 possible selected sites that the DNR came up with, but now we still got to have to do soil bores and all that stuff to check out what the soil's all made of.
Does the 2080 say how the cost of doing these preliminary things gets?
Well, here's
divvied up between entities?
the first priority on the 2080 will be to go out after grant monies, and I've actually already found us grant avenues through USDA. Initially, there's already available as a $30,000 grant, which would be 100%, but then there's also a 60 where there's a
Match.
10% match, maybe 20% match. Don't quote me on the number, I can't
Gotcha.
remember.
Okay.
Actually, when I was out last November in DC, I was talking to the USDA guy. And before my plane even landed, the Iowa Department of USDA had already sent me an email to talk to them. So, I mean, that's a nice side benefit of that.
Is there any state grants?
You know, there's probably a lot of things out
Okay.
there. I'm hoping.
Gotcha.
But we're just in the initial phases of that. I mean, I haven't invested a ton in there. I have talked to the Army Corps of Engineers. Paul, his experience is that he's not crazy about the Army Corps of Engineers because if the government moves slow, the Army Corps is like 100 miles behind them looking ahead to try to catch up. You know, that's just kind of the attitude I'm getting from some people. But when I talked to the Army Corps guy, actually was on a train ride, believe it or not. You never know where you can have a nice meeting that makes a difference. But when I mentioned flood mitigation to him on the Boyer and how that would affect the Missouri, his ears perked right up. I mean, they were all in on that kind of thing. So we'll have to see, but that might be a potential ally in this for building the dam itself, if that would be for the Boyer.
It'd certainly be a cheaper avenue to go.
Well, it sure be cost effective, right? Exactly. So cost sharing is always a good plan, in my book, especially when you're not an extremely lucrative county. But considering all the holler about data centers and water, I mean, this just kind of reinstates, we've lost industry opportunities or have lost the opportunity to court industries because of water shortages, and we can't control what Mother Nature does for us, but we can work harder to prepare. It's just like out there in LA, if you remember, when they didn't have enough water to take care of all them fires, and we don't want to get to a point like that. So I mean, every avenue that we can use to prepare and protect the folks at Crawford, I think we always need to be exploring that at the very least, and that's what's going on here. So that's what the 2080s primarily about. There was a hang up on being able to back out if there's something you didn't like that everybody else was doing. In the 2080, it already said everybody had to be in concurrence. So, I mean, it was kind of already wrote in there. So they just changed some wording. Everybody's happy. Life's good. Joel will come prepare that, but I just want to give you a heads up so you're thinking about it.
You'll give that to Colin.
Yeah, Colin will see it too. He's already seen it. And
He's already
actually,
seen
he
it.
knew,
Okay.
he's been on the project the whole time with
Okay.
us. So
All right.
keep our attorney involved in it so we don't get in trouble, right? So that went well. DMU was very receptive to the change. So that was a good deal. So I think that's something that could be very helpful to us in the future. Plus, it gives us another avenue for water supply, flood mitigation, and obviously.
Does Joe represent any entity, or is he just
Joe is just
personally, this is something that's important to him?
He's into he helps with managing the hog facilities and all that types of thing. And I mean, he's done a lot of stuff with the swine industry and different things, and then agriculture. And it's just a passion of his. So I would just say it's a concerned citizen that knows this is something we need, but he wasn't alone, I mean, Jay Ford was in there at one time. I mean, there's been a whole crew since 2001 that some of these guys have been working on this, and it was a passion of mine too. When I actually came onto the board, I didn't even know there had been a crew working on it, and Paul Osmond let me in on that. So, I mean, and Paul was in on it too. So, I mean, it's something that a lot of people have, I shouldn't say a lot, a number of people have known that we had a need. So, I mean, that's kind of how that's how it's tracked. So, I mean, not to steal any thunder from Joe for next week, but I just wanted you all thinking about it too. Let's see. Sorry. Let me just go through my week here as we go here. I had some other economic development meetings. Where we were talking about some stuff, and it got brought up in a deal at CDC this week. There is a company that's interested to come in here that would actually pull manure off the lagoons of the pig farms, and that would be brought in, and they process this.
Pelletize it, try and pelletize it.
Well, I don't know if it gets pelletized or how. I didn't even ask
What's the
that.
point of pelletizing?
I've seen it in cattle, they sell it commercially then, like bag it and sell it accordingly. I suppose they do an analysis on it and tell you what
So people buy it for their gardens, or
I suppose it's possible,
Is this part of it as like a methane bio?
or is that
That's where I'm going.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, no, that's what I was trying to get to.
pulling that off of it?
Yeah, so that
And then
what it'll be is it'll be something that processes the manure, and in the processing of the manure, it actually creates the methane effect. And then I'm gonna guess, I actually have seen one out in Indiana that worked at a big dairy. And they literally had no vehicles at that dairy. And then when I say a big dairy, I mean mega. I mean, it was mega. It probably supplies the milk for Chicago, Indianapolis, and every other city within arm's reach. But in any event, their methane is captured, and then they turn it into renewable natural gas. Okay, which gets government subsidies, which just whenever I hear that, I get a little bit of an antagonist. But I mean, if it's something that, whenever there's a subsidy involved, it'll actually help you to where you can sustain your own way. You know, I don't mean like the windmills where it's a forever subsidy or they're not going to work. You know, but things that actually do grow into something. And this sounds pretty promising because it creates that renewable natural gas, but it also into the places that it's hard to sell some other things. If you use this renewable natural gas to, like, just use, say, Anderson's used it, they could sell into markets like California and even maybe a European market, you know, with their ethanol. So, you know, it gives you a large value there. So that's some of the good with that methane stuff, or, you know, the renewable natural gas. Anyway, and then sounds like the byproduct then is not odor free, but very reduced odor.
Hello.
And rates are a lot lower. So then you can sell it back to the farmers, and then they can use it on whatever. It can actually be clean enough, you can put it on the surface, you know, and you don't have to worry about runoff and stuff into the river. That's just the short, simple version. You know, I mean, there's a lot more to it than that. And if you ever think that we need, I don't know if it's probably be something that would be inside city limits, the way they talk. I mean, I'm fine wherever they build something like that. I think it's actually anything that we do that uses common assets within our community. I mean, if Anderson's could be involved in it, obviously we'd have farmers involved in it, and then it does things that create a common good. I'm always, let me hear it. Let me hear it. I mean, so I think there's some possible positives to this, you know, and obviously it creates a power source, and I like that.
There'll be a large part of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, hey, you know, they've got lagoons too. I mean, if you could pump off them, so yeah, potentially, I suspect, yeah. I think you could probably bring a lot of people involved into it. I mean, I don't know how big the thing would be, you know, but the potential's there. So, yeah, it could be. I mean, Monogram doesn't really have a lot of manure waste, you know, Smithfield does with their washing off the yards and stuff like that, and whatever else they dump into their lagoons, you know. So, yeah, there's potential there, I suspect, you know, that would help them, you know, pull off instead of dumping over in these lagoons, you know, they sell it up to there, however they would do it, just get rid of it all thereafter, you know. Anyway, not talk about things I'm not supposed to, but did have a little discussion about data centers, since that's a big topic of, you know, this was our economic development meeting, so we were talking about them some. We didn't get into any details of anything because there's no real conversations going on. So apparently that's, you know, whether you're for them or against them, we're trying to craft an ordinance. So that was why that became part of it. There's a lot of things that come with data centers that will help diversify our economy, or potentially come with them. That could help diversify our economy in this county. That's going to depend on how we do things. We're out aggressively. You know, I actually, even this morning, I got on Google and asked Google. There's supposedly all these Fortune 500s and all these companies that are leaving New York cities and LA's and San Francisco's and Seattle's and all these places, Portland. Supposedly they're all leaving. Where are they going? Well, Texas, obviously, and everybody knows that. Austin's been inundated with them. Florida down at Miami. Miami, I'm going to say that the whole bottom part, except for the Everglades, will probably be a city at some point down in Florida. So will that make that better? You tell me. But I asked if Iowa was getting anything. And I mean, she didn't hardly hesitate. No. Oh, thank you. Why are we not getting anything? I mean, people from New York get more snow than we do. You know, they're getting lake effect snow from over Buffalo way heading towards them. And that, you know, they like we're scaring them away with snow or cold. So are we not recruiting these people or what, you know, I mean, and then it started to talk about the things like we don't have the fiber system to help supply what they need. We don't have a lot of these things that the infrastructure is not there, so to speak. And so I thought, well, we need to try to be finding ways to help soothe that. I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it 100 more times. 25,000 to 35,000 is more than big enough for a dentist. But you know, if we could get it like some of our communities up to 2,500 people, you know, it's only going to help us in the long run. You got more people that actually improve, you know, increase housing because there's more people here, but they're also building houses, you know, that's just the house aspect, you know, I mean, diversity of wisdom, you know, more people in more, you're gonna have tax people, you're gonna have blue collar, you're gonna white collar, you're gonna have all the collars, you know, and I think that we need to start thinking about that. Our farmers are a vital part of our infrastructure. And I don't think they're going anywhere, you know, but their numbers are shrinking. So is our population. I mean, Crawford County hasn't grown in how many census? Help me with that, I don't know. I work 8 up all my time, really have done. Anyway, you want to hear any more about stuff that I've been doing? Wednesday, Thursday was a big day for me. I actually had 5 different meetings that day.
Wow.
You need to know any more? And I was at another golf tournament on Friday, which was a fundraiser. But, yeah, Thursday was I didn't have a slow day all week, so you might tell you more than Ben's here, so I'll release it.
And I'm sure like us, I mean, we had multiple phone calls, as I did from the public, giving some input. I'm sure you guys all had the same discussions that I had over the week. So thank you, Ty.
You
Ben, welcome. Tim, welcome.
And the very first thing I got is a utility permit that I forgot to bring up, but really wanted to bore some direction, bore some trenching and boring fiber along the way there, going from area over to about the APC there. Looks like it's just going to the residents, just the west of APC. But just basically continuing on what they did along Lincoln Way. Yeah, I believe that was Western Iowa Network that did that, or just I don't know if it's to serve Arion or coming from Arion to serve that resident.
Do you know, Ben, did like Western Iowa Network, do they get money from the state of Iowa? Because I mean, the governor, 3 years ago, it was something she pushed to get cable, if you want to say, out to rural Iowa. And so do these companies get paid by the state of Iowa also, along with then they pick up customers, certainly who are now paying monthly? Do you know, or?
I don't
Okay.
specifically know. I would speculate that they do
Right.
get some money for providing fiber internet out to these rural areas. I'm sure there is some money that comes from the government for that purpose. I can't say that for sure, though, but I would be speculating. But I'm sure there was a big push by the government to get it out to these rural areas.
Just to grant those permits, we never charge them any money, do we?
We don't.
No, we don't.
We never have.
Right.
I know some of these larger projects, I know there are counties that do charge X amount per permit, $10, for just a stamp permit. There was a question on the Service Bureau whether or not, the one county asking what other counties do if they charge for permits. So some counties do, some counties don't. I don't know if some have a tier system. These larger projects that cost a little more for the permit. I guess we accommodated the utilities, in that respect, and we just never have charged for
So they did get some, assistance to put this stuff in.
I'm chairman, so I got it.
There's it.
All right, you'd like to,
I made this something because a lot of it all of a sudden went in a very short amount. of time.
And there was a fee program, that's what really pushed that. That was, I don't know if that was part of, was it the
part of
IRA?
ARPA?
I think it was part of the IRA. It was a big part in that, and that, not the Irish Revolution. But I think it was all part of that, if I remember right. Yeah. That was when I first started going to NACO stuff. That was a big.
well, I think from a charging a permit, I mean, they're servicing the members of our county. So we'd like to incentivize, I guess, them, the ability to do that, instead of charging them to do that. I understand that the permit charges are very low, they're not huge, it's not like we're charging them $1,000 a person.
It would not be a money making.
Right, exactly.
It's,
So, I mean, this is certainly a benefit to those people that they end up servicing that didn't have that, capability of that type of access in the past. So I think that's something that we take into consideration. So,
I think it was our road right of ways are served to serve the public for both road
Exactly.
purposes and to provide ability for utilities as well. So, again, I guess we can always look into that, but like I said, it'd be so minimal that we would be breaking something like that. I don't see the need for it.
Lights, good service.
Right. Construction of our project over there on L51 is going great. They should be done with their widening today and actually possibly put down just a small short bit of main line to get their paver kind of set up, get it going, and have to show some production for the day. Cut some cores tomorrow.
how often do you get over there? Or do you send somebody, does Tim go or?
Tim, or,
Casey.
I get over there.
Okay,
Casey's on site. Casey and Brent.
Oh, they're on
all day,
site.
every day.
They're,
Oh.
okay, interesting.
They're there.
And that's usually the way we do things when somebody's
Contracted.
okay.
But yeah, they're doing the inspection on the site, making sure everything they're doing is looking good. They're following the rules we set out for them, and they'll be cutting cores tomorrow morning, and doing testing on the materials. But yeah, just
It's a big pile of reclaim.
it is a big bother. I didn't think it was gonna look.
Clean up.
I didn't think it was gonna mount them.
I thought we'd have a pretty good pile, but we got that yard pretty well covered and
And a
a
big
good
pile.
pile.
But some of that yard got a 2 foot
Good
of material
material.
on it, so. And still have this pile. Totally amazes me. They must not be skimping on what they're reclaiming.
No, I mean,
That's good.
A good sign.
That's good.
It's a good sign, yeah.
They're going the exact 8 inches. Every time I've been out there and checked, they're taking that 8 inches out. The width is, they got it knifed out with the width they want. And when you got that wall on the outside, when they lay that material in there, it just packs right in, right up to the edge of where you want it. The quantities are coming up 98-99% of basic quantities, and it's just, everything's going great as far as that.
I love it when you say everything's going great. It's so reassuring.
This is a company we haven't used before, right? Other people have, but this is the first time in Crawford County, is that right?
First time, I don't think Paul has mentioned when he was here that he's never worked with them.
Right.
Casey has.
But I know they've had
worked with them, so.
Work in counties close to us, I guess I should say.
Casey said they've been great to work with.
Awesome. That's great to hear.
Better ones he's worked with, so.
That's great to hear.
They really, I seen them a lot more down by Des Moines,
Okay.
after I seen their trucks with their logo.
Down in that top area, is where they're at.
Is that where they're from?
Yeah.
See if I can-
This thing,
Yeah.
Bill,
From what I visited.
we're sitting here amazed how big that pile is, that we saving taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
Last year when the state did 141, they just blew it in the ditch.
Just dumped it in the
And that would have been.
Still on the
a
side of
greater
the ditch.
pile.
Yeah, that would have made one heck of a pile there too, yeah, in addition.
Right. So I was thinking of that this morning. Here we are. We reuse that material and they just threw it in the ditch. The state's got plenty of money, just get rid of it.
No, I'm sure everyone will remember, but when Paul had your position, and Paul was up here, we were talking about the Donna Reed Bridge. And he said he was talking to the head of the DOT, and the DOT was like, I don't know why you guys, because we were negotiating with the railroad on what they wanted for an easement, how wide, how tall, all that stuff. And then they were talking about the bridge down here over the railroad on, 5930, whatever you want to call it. And the DOT guys out says to Paul, I don't know why you guys negotiate or bicker so much about that. We don't have to because we got all the money. It's like, wow, it's a shame that when you're a taxpayer in the state of Iowa, you have the head of the DOT say something like that. You're like, really? That's depressing. And
it would probably.
You mentioned that about low and
much negotiating with the railroad on Donna Reed.
Right.
If we weren't so constrained there. No, that would have been on the highway, out on E16, build, no area, we have the room to build, and want to make as big of a deal. On Donna Reed Road, we were so constrained, we built Highway 30 right there. We had to negotiate to even get a design done.
It seemed like it took forever to get stuff done on E16 over that side of Booyer that day.
Yeah.
Railroad should be the railroad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thankfully, the
They got
railroad.
a lot to worry about though. I mean, if you've ever seen a big train wreck because of a little walk crap, I'm sure especially when some other things are hauling around out there. I get it.
I'm glad to see the
I get
railroad
it.
got their crossing finished up on Friday. I was half wondering if they were gonna have that going on this weekend, the way the guys that are on site were talking about. They got her asphalt laid in and nicely there and got her open back up before the weekend. So that's good. But and I kind of played with one of my last discussion point there about we'll get to that. First, great group there on 10th Street. They're going to be going down to 10th Street. Going to shape up that approach that goes down to Lansing's down there. Get that knocked out. And, I believe they're looking at going over P Avenue. Yeah.
They're heading down there this week or next?
They're down there
It's
now.
down there now.
Yeah, they're heading that way direction probably today. So, and going to get that shaped up and that way they can. Move on with things. I think he's building a house down there of sorts and stuff. So it'd be nice to have that all done before they kind of move in there to do that. That way they know what our road top is. So
Yeah.
but it's all gonna work out good. So it'll make that a lot safer coming out onto the highway. So they're gonna be going there and then heading over to P Avenue to do the grading over there. So bridge crew, they're doing a couple fixes on culverts and they're just coming off of finishing up that mastic business. They did a great job sticking with that and getting that product out where we wanted. I think we got most all the areas covered that we wanted to, especially the bridge deck approaches. So hats off to them. They kind of stuck it out and really got Zach, he did a phenomenal job kind of heading that off. So gotta give him good credit there. So but yeah, they're fixing some culverts, and then we're gonna fix that bridge up. That truck came up by first day of gravel haul there and clipped the guardrail around that, and we're gonna fix that guardrail and shore up that wing wall, re-drive a pile on that wing wall, and get that shaped up. And then we're probably gonna be going over to the City Vale there, do that weir structure, that stream stabilization project there, that Hungry Cadence project right there in town on that Cane Creek. So, and that'll take them a few weeks down that direction. So, roadside crew, they're out doing their spraying, probably a better part of the summer here, and yeah, we're trying a little bit of a different spray program. We replaced one of the products with Garlon, and see if we can get a little better kill on some of the harder to kill weeds that we've had going on out there, and I've been juicing the trees pretty good. So, but a couple reports of maybe got some overspray that I'll have to go take a look at on some beans. But aside from that, I haven't had a whole lot of that come about yet. So. The next item I have here is a motion to approve what we did grade up there on F Avenue. Notice a public hearing for the publication related to the classification of F Avenue. Going from a level A to a level B to level A between 1131 F Avenue to 120th Street. That's, I believe we discussed that, so I've been here at prior meetings, that's one road that we graded, the landowner wanted to upgrade it, and wanted to pay for the limestone, went out to do it, and
We were gonna have that July 7th, is that,
pardon?
what was the date of the public hearing?
Do you have that in front of you, Terry?
July 7th.
July
July
7th.
7th, yeah. 10 o'clock.
Yes, yeah.
Hollywood entertain a motion to approve a public hearing to be held July 7th at 10 a.m. For reclassification of F Avenue between 1131 F Avenue and 120th Street.
Make that motion for 7/7. Okay.
Motion by Gene,
I'll second that.
second by Kyle. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries.
Thanks, they're doing very well on that, hopefully by the end of the week here, he said we'll pretty well be done with the Stratford pile, and then really we got a day or two of running out of the Wall Lake pile, and we're gonna leave some at both Hampton and Wall Lake for our guys just kind of haul throughout the rest of the season, and I think we'll get the roads all covered, may actually have some possibly going into stockpiles, so the roads just, they're in great shape.
So when you haul from the gravel pit, you haul from the gravel pit to the roads?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
you don't,
haul.
not to stockpile it and then take it out to the
No,
roads.
that's why we do the gravel haul and kind of have an orchestrated effort at it. It's gonna be your most cost beneficial way of doing it.
Exactly.
Taking it straight from the gravel source to putting it right on the roads, not restockpile, having to reload it and then take it out.
Makes sense.
Like I said, if we get quite a few trucks going, we get the roads covered, and then we got it for the year, so.
I got my first ever comment where somebody says we're putting too much gravel on it.
Haven't had that.
I wouldn't say it probably is that we haven't got spread out. Our play guys, maybe got a little behind on getting it, they'll get it on the roads, and then like guys gotta follow up and get it placed and put on the roads where they want it. And they try to get something.
Anything else, Ben? We do have a public hearing at 10 o'clock you need to get to, but
No, we can discuss Lincoln Way and Highway 30 closure up. It's just thoughts and comments on that.
when's the closure coming?
Not certain yet, but
Okay.
when it comes, we want
And
to.
this one.
I got some thoughts considering over the week last week. Okay.
Thank you. Is that done over there?
Yes, it is.
Are they all take one and pass?
Thank you, guys. So it being 10 o'clock, I would entertain a motion to open our public hearing for a budget amendment.
Take one right
I'll make that motion to open the public hearing.
Motion by Kyle, second by Gene.
Try and reach out.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Our public hearing is open. So any written, I guess, objectives or any input or?
I think you can just about tell who everybody is this morning on the Zoom. Yeah. Not good. I'm guessing it's Roger. Right.
Not received any written. Is that what you're asking?
Did you get all that stuff written down online, Terry?
Yep, I did. Did you sign it?
Did you want him on it?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, Terry,
Here for the
that
hearing, so.
the numbers that I guess were in, were they in a sheet in our pamphlet? I'm trying to remember where I saw it. Right there. That the numbers are different than what is on there? or-
Yeah. Because we reached our final spending. We had our claims run today. And payroll was last Thursday, I think was the date. Anyway, there won't be another payroll this fiscal
Fiscal year.
year, and there won't be another claims run this fiscal year. So on your resolution, the first item listed as far as appropriations for the attorney's office, we had appropriated or have on the budget sheet for 30,000, 15 to the general fund and 15 to supplemental, or was it 15.3? It might have been 15.3 to supplemental. Sorry. Yeah, 15.3 to supplemental. Anyway, the 15.3 will more than cover the supplemental difference, which was just about not quite $14,000. And 15,000 is more, way more than needed in the general fund to cover. I mean, you could go down to $1,500 rather than $15,000 for the general portion of that, which would total $16,800 for budget amendment. And that would cover, I mean, like I said, we're not expending any more money this fiscal year. So these numbers should be final.
Solid final numbers.
Yep,
To meet with for sure.
yep.
So on the sheets that you gave us, that yellow highlight of 4758 in general basic, and that's
Where are
expense.
you at?
This one.
So that's the IT department and not the attorney's department.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I couldn't see what department that was. I guess I was looking
Sorry,
real
that's
quickly.
IT,
Okay.
but same kind of a similar situation.
So is this the second one you gave us, the 1,115? That's the
That's the
that's the
attorneys.
attorneys?
Yeah,
Okay.
And that, on this Excel one, that was for health insurance, 15,003, correct?
yep.
That page there, see how far we're coming back down. We're a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next item on that appropriations is general services, 50,000, and that is for the work comp
Oh,
increase.
Yep.
And that needs to be 50,000.
Okay.
IT, we had budgeted 25,000 for the amendment. And like Craig noted on Department 55, the one that has the negative 4758, $4,758. If we were to change 25,000 to just 5,000, that would more than cover that shortage.
Yep.
Sheriff, he doesn't need, so the 32,404 was gonna be going to for the K-9 fund to fund, so they did fundraising a few months ago, and we're gonna make a deposit and potentially spend some of the K-9 funds. That didn't happen. So that part of the budget amendment doesn't need to happen. It will need to happen in the next fiscal year. Because the K-9 fund just has been reactivated and being used again. So we don't need to, we can eliminate
We don't need to do
the
that, no.
32,404
But we will need to do that next.
in the next fiscal year. Doing it now will not affect next fiscal year, so there's no need to do it. And there won't be any funds in there because they haven't been deposited, and we're not doing another claims run, so there won't be an opportunity to spend it anyway.
Spending authority, but
So what we just need the budget amendment for general services because of workman's comp for 50 grand.
Yep.
IT 5 grand, attorney 15 grand. Is that right?
16,800.
16,800. Okay.
Zero for sheriff now.
Yep, and 0 for the sheriff. So a total of 71,000
But that-
800.
Just so I understand, that health insurance is for like a new hire last year or somebody changed from.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
They had a retirement in that department and the new, which I believe was a single policy, and the new person hired.
That's what makes it hard.
Probably answer that better, but
Right.
hopefully I'm speaking to that correctly.
It's been a mystery, honestly. There was some overlap. I had carried two insurances out of that office for a month or two. Just 1 month, because I had Joni train Liz. And so there was a time when they were both insurances came out of that fund. I've been through, I have 9 of my 12 monthly statements. And between that, which was $1,000 or so, it appears that my initial health insurance line was just low. And I can't figure out why. I was burning 10% a month out of my health insurance policy, when at 12 months, you should be burning around 7 or 8%. I don't know. I've been trying to come up with it for an answer. I mean, I budgeted for a family for Joan. So when Liz came in with the family as well.
That doesn't seem right, does it? Because would that be for the whole year? And when did Liz start? Just
December.
December. Okay.
So,
So yeah, I mean, it is what it
It
is,
is what
and
it
we
is.
need to fund it.
Yeah.
We can't leave it negative, so,
We're not gonna do that.
no, I know, I understand.
Thank you for the explanation.
Yeah.
Change it a little bit, which is good.
Because you're right, I mean, when you look at your, since you have this number, you didn't, like you increased employees, have one more employee, you're just replacing one.
Yeah,
And replacing them, one had health insurance, life or family, the new one takes family, you wouldn't think it would change.
right.
Bottom line,
Not that
I
much.
knew-
other than the 1 month when they were both
It
there.
should just be a few $1,000.
By a couple thousand
maybe,
dollars.
Yeah.
There was, all I can say is, my first statement I have for this fiscal year was from September. I couldn't locate the other ones, and I didn't have time to ask Michelle for the other ones. But by September of this fiscal year, I was down at 69% in that fund. So July, August, September. So right out of the gates, that fund was burning at 10% a month. When over a 12-month period, it should be burning around 8%.
Huh.
Just,
So
20% of the fund divided by 12.
I don't know what he
is
used
8%.
to budget with. I mean, it would depend,
Yeah, then you have to start with what you have planned for your budget.
because we use the numbers that are given to us by the department heads, so I
Right.
don't know.
I don't have
I
family
don't
plan.
double check them.
Well, I mean, the moral of the story is here, we're
Yeah.
short some money and we have to fund it.
Right,
Yep,
Right.
we need, yeah.
so what's the new?
so do you want a motion just to approve the 71,800 total? Or do you want us to state
So we
individually?
need to, you can't make any motions in a hearing,
Oh, that's right, right.
so
I
we'll have
forgot.
to close, no, it's okay.
Okay. Yep.
We'll have to
Thank you.
close the hearing, and then, the approval would be the resolution, and we'll change, we'll get,
What is the new dollar
With
amount?
the updated amounts.
yeah,
It'd be
it'd be
16,
16.8 for the attorney, and that's both funds, that's inclusive of both funds. General services, 50,000, IT, 5,000, and, the sheriff's portion will be 0. Total, I think I mapped it right, I think I did, 71.8 would be the total of that new resolution appropriating.
So any other input, I guess, from anyone here in the boardroom? Anybody online have any input? If not, I guess I'd entertain a motion to come out of our public hearing.
Second.
Motion and a second.
What time is it?
It's 10:13, 10:12. We have a motion, a second to come out of public hearing. Any further discussion? Roll calls in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. We're back in open session. This time, I would entertain a motion to approve those dollar amounts, I guess, that we're talking about while we were in our public hearing. For a total amount totaling $71,800.
I'll make that motion to approve the
Resolution.
resolution with those amounts that we talked about.
For workman's comp, or general services, 50,000, IT 5,000, and attorney 16,800.
Correct.
Total was 71,800. Motion by Kyle.
Second.
Second by Ty. Any further discussion? Roll call, or this is roll call by resolution. So Kyle.
Aye.
Ty.
Aye.
Jean.
Aye.
Dave.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries. So, Terry, just for clarification, I guess on the agenda, the resolution 2026-23 is what we just approved right now. So that's the appropriation to the departments for the public hearing. Okay. So we'll move on to comp time payout. At this time, I guess it's on there because it's something we've been discussing and trying to figure out what's the fairest and best way to, I guess, to deal with our comp time issue. Has there been anybody had any further discussions or thoughts about how we move forward? I think it's been policy that we let people carry over 40 hours, pay out the rest. I guess there's been thought maybe the actual fairest way is to pay out 100% of comp time. Don't let people carry over anything. That way you get it paid out, accumulated, so you don't get have higher payout rate than what you actually earned it at. I think those are all valid discussions. I think it seems like our employees like the fact that they can carry over 40 hours just in case there's family emergencies or something that they didn't foresee happening.
I think 40 hours is doable. It's not a huge liability for the county. It's good to have that in case you have some unforeseen time that you need to take off and you have that bank. One of the things that is to be considered is, should we, department heads, if they have people that need to work so much over the 40 hours each, or 37.5 hours each week, 40, would we want to consider having that overtime paid out in their check each every other week, rather than putting it into this bank? You know, some employees may want to get that extra in their paycheck each week. It's at least it's being paid out at the same rate that they have earned it. So I think that would be something.
So since you can accumulate 40 hours, what you're saying is once you've hit that 40-hour limit, anything over that you work 40 hours in a week would automatically be paid out. You can't accumulate it to the end of the year to a payout. You just pay it out right away.
Or you have to start with paying everybody down to 40.
Right.
And then implementing that. Terry, how's that work on your end, payroll?
Where's Amy at? I guess that was what was running through my head. Is that something she?
Yeah, we have departments that do that now. Secondary Roads currently does that. I think the sheriff's department's gonna start doing something similar to that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I think the question is, will each department have their own policy then on how they pay comp time?
Well, they
As far
probably
as-
kind of do now, a little bit.
Well, obviously,
I
we have
mean,
some that are letting it get up to, you know,
Elected officials can manage that.
but then do we have to develop a
Department head
policy?
and elected official, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we've got two department heads in here. I guess, do you guys have any thoughts on how you want to run your department and what you feel is fair for your employees, or any thoughts, or?
I mean, it's a balance. I mean, I think everything you guys are discussing makes sense. One worry I have about the per paycheck would be that when I know I'll speak for myself, when I submitted my budget for this upcoming fiscal year, that's not something that I budgeted for.
Yeah.
So that would be something to keep in mind
For next year,
for next year,
right?
when we're sitting here on the end of year again. But then, and that could be like the lag year, and then the year after that, that could be more accounted for. But, you know, for my office, again, I'll just speak for my office, the comp time waxes and wanes. It depends on our caseload, it depends on our trials, it depends on a lot of stuff. I do know that in an effort to better manage the comp time in my office, I have shuffled around work responsibilities. I have instituted some new policies. And so, you know, moving forward, you know, I can't say that there won't be comp time, because I will tell you there will be comp time this year.
Right.
But, you know, with the shuffling around with the policies and work responsibilities, hopefully it's better managed.
So as a department head, you don't have an issue with, I guess, us asking all the department heads to just keep it at 40 hours per employee. And anything over that, we pay out, be it on a weekly basis or be it at the end of the year. You're just telling us that, hey, you haven't budgeted for that. You haven't budgeted to pay out either. For people that are over 40 hours.
Right.
To pay that out. Also, it's not figured into your budget for next year.
Right, and as far as, you know, the usage of comp time waxes and wanes too, and so paying it out on a per paycheck basis, you know, there's times of year where comp time is burned, and there's times of year where comp time is earned, and so if you pay it out right away, or at least on the upcoming paycheck, you never give that office or that employee an opportunity to kind of chunk it back down.
Or you might have an employee say, look, I know I'm at the 40 hours and now I'm working overtime, but I'd really, in 3 weeks, I've got this event coming up. And I'd like to use that, I'd like to accumulate that comp time to use it then to get me, then I'd go back down to 40.
Right.
So it's like Terry
So-
often
but
brings
we
up,
also have
let the
vacation
department
time
head
for
manage.
cruises.
Right, I understand, but I'm just saying that, do we have that, do we want to give the department heads, it seems like, well, I don't think we give that, but I'm just saying that the department heads, to me, should have that flexibility because they know their staff better than
Their
anybody
workload
does.
and what goes on, I understand that 100%. The Trump's overtime tax deduction, is that going into effect? Or is that already in effect? So
Already.
will any of that help with the overtime? People wanting to just take it in each paycheck? I'm not sure how that works, what that means to
It
them.
sounds like a Chelsea question.
That's an Amy question.
Right.
actually.
Chelsea, I asked the
And you
question
probably
because
know.
I don't know the
Yeah, I don't
answer. If I knew the answer.
No, that's a good question. I haven't even thought about that because the state of Iowa passed to follow along with.
Correct.
the-
So it may make
With the
overtime a
federal
little more
government, so
appealing
the
to
state
people,
government doesn't
and,
charge,
you know,
on
and even
that
this
either.
payout that we're doing,
right? Does comp time count as overtime pay?
I think it does. It's
Or
accrued
a
at
separate
time and a half.
classification where one's taxed and one's not?
I do think
I would say
regardless,
it does,
Oh.
but that's a guess on my behalf, so let's ask Amy.
Okay, all right.
That should be our
who's
new
saying?
motto, let's ask Amy.
Oh, that's Amy. Okay, I just was gonna say, I was hoping that was an AI or.
No,
Okay. Because I
no.
100% trust.
but
I
I think it
can
would
ask
be good
anybody
for us,
their
whether,
opinion.
if we pay down comp time to 40 hours to get us squared away,
Correct.
then we just have to consciously every year, whether it's paycheck to paycheck or at the end of each year.
Do the same thing.
Otherwise, in 10 years, we could be back to the same boat.
Correct.
Okay, we have to reset.
In
Back
each
down to-
department.
And this would require a budget
You're
here.
off.
Let's just kind of read
Next
the
year.
email to them about the
276.
deduction and how
Oh.
that's gonna affect things.
So comp and overtime is the same thing.
Okay.
So when I do the reporting on the W-2s, I consider the comp that they use, they got paid, is the same as overtime. So it's the same
You
reporting.
said you consider that.
No,
So it's,
not
It
me.
it is.
It is
Okay.
considered that
considered the same.
reporting.
It's
Okay.
not just me. I
Okay,
didn't
that's
make
what
that
I
up.
just wanted to
Like,
clarify.
yes,
All
no,
right.
it's the law, yes.
All right.
Law
Yeah.
considers
Good.
that.
It's what she has to consider.
Okay.
Right,
Yes.
yeah,
Thank you.
So, but the,
So it doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter.
Correct.
Either way, it's gonna be a deduction.
Yeah.
so that we just want to clarify.
Yeah.
that, just to make sure, because we don't work in it daily and making sure that we're,
We just want to make sure, I just want to make sure there was no differentiation between overtime pay and comp.
No, it's
So
all
if
the
they're
same.
treated the same, then that's good.
Yeah.
That makes it simpler for us.
for everybody, so.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm trying to, thanks, Amy.
Thanks, Amy.
So do we let the department heads manage it? I mean, Roger's trying to catch up.
Here,
You know, he had a catastrophe where he was paying the deputy to not even be here.
Right.
Do we let them do it before we would try to do anything on a weekly or every other week basis where we're paying that up? I think you let them manage it. But do we need to have some teeth in it where it comes out of Colin's paycheck if he doesn't keep it?
that seems fair.
For every department, not just the.
No, Colin ain't paying for everybody.
No, I mean, it comes back to, I mean, Colin, you've talked to us many times about silos and we need to stay in our right lane. And I guess, can this board dictate that we stop it at 40, that anything over 40 is either paid out
That's our
on the
policy.
week or paid out? That's our policy in our employee manual.
I think we can dictate that because it has to do with finance, but how they manage
And
that
liability.
should be their, you know, I mean, the only thing is if they aren't at the 40. I mean, there's mitigating certain, you know, extra mitigations, or extra circumstances, like in Roger's case, where, I mean, gosh, Jared's got 276 hours.
Art says that's rookie numbers.
Huh?
Art says that's rookie numbers. He's got 3.5. So.
Who says that?
Which he earned. I'm not
But
discrediting.
that's my point, is
Yeah.
because of being a deputy short and who knows what else. I mean, stuff happens,
Mhm.
you know, but so we gotta try to do a better job of managing that some way, somehow.
But our job of this board is, and what's on the agenda today is give them permission to pay them people down to 40.
Yeah.
And I think we should.
We should.
I mean, we're gonna have to do a budget amendment then next year, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
At some point in time we are, because
Well.
if any of these employees were to retire that are carrying the excessive amounts of comp time, where's that money gonna come from? If they retire next year, we have to pay
Right.
somebody else an extra.
So to Ty's point, I mean, do we want to allow some of the department heads time to reduce that on their own? I mean, Roger has talked to us about, hey, over time, I'm gonna get that down. I don't need to have it paid out to 40. I'm gonna get everybody down to 40. You don't need to pay it out.
So you're, Kyle, you're
know-
wanting to take everybody down to 40 hours.
40, just like policy states.
Yeah.
Yep, and, like, you know, I can see Colin's point too, and everything about using the whole time to, but are we gonna be? I don't know,
Kicking the can down the
we
road.
just keep kicking the can.
I get, because this isn't something, we discussed this over the years, you know, that it didn't happen overnight. I mean, people grow that time and that's, they put in the time and earn it, whether they earn it off or earn it paid, I mean, that's theirs that they earn. When you just reset and get down to 40, or can you bite it off in chunks? Can you set everybody down to 50 and say, okay, you got 10 extra hours throughout the year to get down? I don't.
So the question is, do we eat the elephant or rip off the Band-Aid? I mean, on past stuff,
On past stuff, I think we need to,
rip off the Band-Aid.
I think so. And I think, you
because
know,
it's not fiscally responsible of us to.
We've
Well,
been
I mean-
discussing it a long time.
When you're looking at like some of these hours, I mean, what was the rate that was earned at? It sure ain't gonna be what it's gonna be July 1.
or tears.
Well,
At this
Mine are.
yeah,
Yours
Mine just
are, well,
earned it.
yeah, thank you.
Mine literally just earned it, so.
just think though, because if we don't, ex-employee, I'm not gonna mention their name, goes up $3 and some cents an hour come July 1st. So take that times X amount of hours.
So I'm okay with ripping off.
They earn them
Band-Aid
at,
now.
they earn them at Y, and they don't need to,
They paid at X.
yes.
But I think you just so that we know that, well, you need to continue it every year to keep it.
Correct.
According to policy.
Because then they're being
Hard to
paid
manage,
out
but
at
you're
the
gonna have
current.
At the end of the fiscal year, it needs to be brought down to 40 according to policy.
So if a department head were to decide that to do a similar procedure that I believe secondary roads is doing, once they get to 40, anything earned over 40 automatically is paid on that next.
Seems
They
simple.
just need to communicate that
Right.
with Amy.
Communication is gonna be key.
I guess, right. I mean, it'd be nice, in my mind, I guess, to have the ability as the department head, like I said, to work with people on an individual basis that may be, you know,
You
somebody
just need
has
to
something coming
understand
up
that
and
this
say,
next fiscal year, department heads are gonna come to you for a budget amendment because
I know there are.
nobody budgets,
Nobody did.
well, not, I shouldn't say nobody because some do
Some do.
obviously
Some do.
budget for the extra.
Well, you know you're always gonna have extra, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, just caseload.
Unless you guys give me another employee, I'll always have extra.
Well, we might have to talk about that,
Yeah.
you know, because if
You
you
know,
had a
especially at
part-time,
capacity, would that help?
might
I
have,
mean, that would be the solution to my office's downtime, is another bottle in the office.
you have room for another body in your office?
I know. And I mean, there's limitations, you're right. I mean, it's one solution, but then it runs into another problem.
I
I'm
know.
thinking of bunk beds, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. But a half step might be what you guys are doing now, right? Pay out anything above 40 at the end of the fiscal year.
Yep.
Because that gives the department and the employee the year to kind of balloon up and shrink down. And it doesn't, if you're worried about the fiscal year having an increased rate at payout, well, that solves that because you paid out before the new fiscal year. So that kind of accomplishes both, I guess.
And even paying it, our next payroll is July 2nd. It will still be at the same pay rate
Previous rate.
that we're currently at, even though it's in the new fiscal year, paying it out of new budget, same cost, current,
And that's why it's on the agenda today.
yes. Because we
Just
can
for that
still
fact,
accomplish
so we can
that.
still pay it out.
And not pay somebody an extra $3 an hour.
Right.
In their payout,
Right.
so,
So-
Good time
or
to have
whoever,
this.
So
whatever.
we're talking about it now, right?
We are.
Are we wanting to pay that, so that'll pay off prior to June 30th? If we did this, correct? I mean, are we looking at doing that?
At their wage. prior
Paycheck's
to-
July 2nd.
But I mean, are we looking to catch them up this June or,
Yes,
Yeah.
right now,
Next pay.
today.
and then that'll come out of our reserves?
No,
No.
it comes out of next year's budget,
Come out
but
of
it's
each
this,
department.
at this year's rate of pay.
Budget.
Well, let me catch you up to where my
So
mind's
those
going.
amendments will come out of reserves, which will happen in the next.
Which will
fiscal
happen
year.
next year.
That's what I'm
Yes.
talking
Yes.
about.
Yes.
Because if there's a paid, and now I'm going to the new property tax. Because we're gonna have to pay down some stuff, so I mean, it's best to do it now while we've got some reserves. If I say we've gone for it,
You with it? All right.
I make a motion, we pay it down before June 30th. And
240 hours for every.
give everybody. I make that.
Okay, motion by Ty,
Second.
second by Kyle. Any further discussion?
Well, and if somebody has a big vacation planned and they had all the hours banked, they are gonna get a nice hunk of cash that they could even take for weeks unpaid.
Well, that's 40 days yet,
If,
too.
you know, if that's
Some will.
gonna, have a, it's gonna be rare,
Well, I think it's good for us to be consistent with every department. I mean, that's consistency.
And they still have 40 hours to work
We
with.
still have 40 hours to work. Any further discussion?
Hope that don't just mean everybody goes up to 40.
Very ballpark.
Keep it-
Like
keep it
that.
down.
So not with the-
But it looks like secondary roads has always done a good job, and I think like Rogers.
Okay.
There's some
Questions have been called for? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries. Thank you.
I think you're doing it to us more.
Move on to Safety and Security Council bylaws. That was in our board packet. Jean, I guess you were at the meeting.
I was.
I guess anything in that document, I guess we got Zach right here. Anything, Zach, that you wanted to add? I mean,
He wrote
it's the reason you put it together.
Nope, just the change for, the appointment of board of supervisors member five.
Yeah.
Just the only change that was-
Pretty self-explanatory. Have a motion to approve. Motion by Jean, second by Dave. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Chair votes aye, motion carries. Sherry. Tax abatement in Vale.
So the tax abatement, we can take that off of the agenda.
Okay,
Um,
Sherry, you're here for claims.
Vail actually ended up coming in and paying this. I didn't see that they did. They wanted to abate these taxes, but they were planning to sell it in a short amount of time, and I told them typically the board does not abate taxes if they're gonna make money off of it. They came in and paid it without my knowledge, so I failed to get removed. So that's kind of the backstory on that.
That's the city.
The city,
City of
yeah,
Vail?
yeah, they took an old church and burned it down,
Okay.
and an individual citizen owned it. And they took it over, and yeah, like I said, if they were gonna keep it for city use or something, you guys may have considered it, but I didn't think since they talked about selling it here soon that it would probably be something that would be considered, so they ended up paying. So the thing that I wanted to discuss on the next one, the claims, is, I don't know if you guys remember, but when Ben took over, I had a discussion with him about not paying claims in July because our cash coming in is pretty low. We usually don't take a lot of taxes in July. I came in and talked to you guys about it, and now I'm getting an email that says, I just wanted to call to your attention that the beginning, let's see here. I just want to bring to your attention that secondary roads will have some pretty hefty claims this month, being the end of the fiscal year and the start of the next. It's not unusual to see around 1 million in claims in the month of June with gravel haul that started up the end of May, and us wanting to pay for as much as possible before the end of the fiscal year, which I get. Also, the claims for FY27 will be higher as the remainder of the granular surfacing comes due after July 1. My concern with this, like I spoke before, is when we don't bring in that much money, I could have to call for a CD. I could have to cancel a CD that the county's making some decent interest on. I don't understand why we can't negotiate with that vendor to pay in September. I mean, most vendors know it's coming from the county and we're good for the month.
What?
In the past, when Paul did it, we always had huge claims. So that's why when we switched department heads, I tried to request that we change it then.
Yeah, we still have huge claims.
We still had the claims, yes. But like I said, a little communication goes a long ways.
I remember, doing that, saying we're gonna buy a piece of equipment or something.
And you asked to pay it in September when our new taxes start coming forth.
So how do we fix it or remedy it, or what do you think?
You need to, I guess, have a meeting with the department head and say that we're not gonna pay those claims that month, that they need to negotiate with the
Is there
vendor
a,
to pay them a little bit
is there
later.
a penalty on the CD? I mean, we don't have a CD that coming due. Usually there's a penalty if you pull it prior to the,
There are
to the-
penalties on CDs when you pull them early.
yeah.
But I do have it set up that I have a CD coming due every month. But we're making some really good money on those CDs. So if we have to cash one in,
we're not gonna make that
We're
money
not
for the
gonna-
3-month time period till September.
We're not gonna have
Could
that
be
money
making-
to reinvest. I roll those CDs each month so that we do have them if it's an emergency. And I mean, from looking at this, I don't consider this an emergency. I consider this a lack of communication.
Have you talked to Ben since he emailed you, and did he say that he talked to the vendors and?
I just asked him to come up if he's still in the building.
No, I talked to him once and just
Whether or
asked.
not he had that conversation with the vendors or not.
No, I did not. I had the conversation initially with him and initially with you guys, so I was kind of caught off guard by this, and I just wanted to bring it to your attention that if this continues, we could have to cash in a CD and lose a lot of interest for the county.
Want to just have Ben come up?
I texted him.
Oh, you did, okay, okay.
See if we can.
So this isn't out of,
Later.
this is coming out of reserves or?
Well, it's just that, like Sherry says, I guess our balance of the county is lower at this point in time because our tax
We don't know
revenue
what-
comes in September and March.
More of a cash flow issue. than
Right.
anything.
And it's not that we don't
Just
have the
budget for it.
money,
Right.
but we could have to call in a CD or cash in a CD
Where
to pay
instead
these
of,
higher
instead of
amounts.
earning that money for that
Well,
3-month time
And
period.
I'm gonna tell you right now, it ain't all Ben's fault, because fuel's been hired to kite, if we're talking about during gravel haul. Fuel's been hired to kite, trucking rates went up subsequently. And, obviously his, costs.
And maybe those vendors don't allow that, I guess. They
And I
might
will
be
tell
like,
you,
hey, you're
most of
30
our-
days to county.
Most of our
Those sound like
gravel
nice
haul
things, though.
fleets are small fleets, and they, speaking as being one of those, you don't have a lot of operational room.
Yeah.
Most of them don't carry
Yeah,
millions
they-
in reserves,
Well,
so
the
that might be the challenge.
Right, right, and I'd like to hear from Ben, what he
Yeah.
talked to those vendors, because they might say too, and I don't know without talking to Ben, hey, if you don't pay for the material from Stratford and pay in September, it's gonna be a 5 or 10% surcharge.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know. That's
I
the
mean,
point.
we might be losing out on interest there, but it's cost us more on the other end too, so till we talk to Ben.
Well, if we pay 2 million on gravel, that's freight,
So
and
budget.
everything. That's freight and everything. So all these truckers are submitting all their tickets right now, because they need to pay their fuel
Their
bills
fuel.
and their employees, so.
Yep.
Yeah, until we hear from Ben, we appreciate you bringing this up, Sherry, because it is a concern that,
Yeah.
but like you said, are we forced, our cards being forced, we're gonna have to save cash on at 1% or whatever that percentage is, interest is coming in, and we'd have to pay it out on.
What's the amount of our CDs that come due every month?
I have $1 million CD every month.
$1 million CD every month, and the bill is for how much?
Well, this just says, the first claim of 27 will be higher as the remainder of the granule surfacing comes due July 1. I estimate claim upwards of 1.2 million between now and mid-July.
That was already. Yeah, well,
How much of that wasn't in his original budget because he wasn't expecting a war with Iran?
I think it wasn't.
I know
I mean,
that just by talking to other treasurers, that a lot of times it's just a matter of, they don't pay them.
Of the engineer talking to the vendor and saying, hey, here's what we're paying.
Correct.
but if-
And like I said, when it's coming from the county, they know it's good money. They know they're not just getting put off. They're going to get their money.
Right, right. You're right
It's a
about that.
timing. Most people would understand.
Well, if he's not here, we won't.
Right.
we will talk to him.
You better check off.
So you haven't, I guess, got the bill. He hasn't submitted anything for payment yet. You just got that email,
Just give me
right?
We have the Julys in, and obviously, the June claims in, those have already been submitted and are coming out today and tomorrow, whether they're checks or EFT. That's not an issue. My concern from here on and
Is
in the
after.
future is big money that we're paying out July 1st because we don't pull in a lot of income those months.
Than usual.
What's our balance that's not in CDs? County.
Right off the top of my head, I don't know, I'd have to go look.
Fluctuates.
I know I've got some in IPATE, I've got some in savings, and I've got a little bit in checking. But if it's another million, we're draining it.
until September, we can
Start pulling in taxes again, yep.
Well, we will touch base with Ben and make sure that we communicate to you what needs to be done, right? Is that?
So all these
Makes more
CDs,
sense.
they're not all from reserves. Some of it's our operating money.
It's all our operating.
It's all good, right?
It's all money that's been in our savings and in our accounts that we have invested into a CD to make more money for the county.
Yeah, it used to just
The
kind of
bills must be
sit
paid.
there.
I'm not gonna become like the federal government, become insolvent because we got a $3 to $8 trillion deficit, but
We will not.
but management does. So,
We as a county, we actually manage our money, unlike the federal government.
exactly.
Yeah,
Thank you.
To be
Thanks.
continued, thanks, Jean.
sure. So we'll move on to a resolution, I guess, designating the official physical posting location for public meetings and agendas pursuant to Iowa Code, Chapter 21 and House File 2490. Seems pretty simple.
Seems pretty
However, Terry,
Always so hot.
it's not.
Well, I don't know that it's not simple, but
I don't remember doing this before, but that doesn't mean we have it.
because it's new.
Oh, it's new. Okay.
You have to learn to adjust.
There's a copy of the
Wow, that's-
resolution.
A lot of pages.
That's-
Dick and Reed.
How many trees died for us today?
I hope they're all mulberry trees.
Or box elder.
They'd be spotted, right? Or no, I don't know.
Right, they'd be crooked.
Little purple stain,
Crooked paper.
Is that how that works?
Okay. This is the resolution that we're looking at passing, House File 24.
Let's see, where should I begin? Government bodies are required to designate annually a prominent and conspicuous place which is easily accessible to the public where meeting notices and tentative agendas are posted and visible to the public at all times. So where we're currently posting,
Just
they're
downstairs.
not.
Well, they're not.
No, on our bulletin board right inside the entry door. Yeah, my eyes can't see that. And not that I have great eyes, but,
Okay, so we can just post it on our website. Isn't that sufficient enough? Now, moving forward to satisfy this?
no,
No.
Why would it
Okay.
take
No,
more pages?
it needs section 1 is about the official posting location. Section 2 is internet posting, and then compliance with prior notice requirements, which would be like the 24-hour advance notice of meetings as mandated in code section 21.4. So I put on here, and this can obviously be changed per your discussion, but the glass exterior door on the east side of the courthouse, which would be the one just underneath this office. It's accessible by ADA. I mean, people can, any capacity can really approach our building and see it. We'll hang it so it faces the outside of the building. Visible and accessible 24 hours. We could do the west door. It seems less prominent there just because it's not.
Can
I
you
don't
post them on like electronic boards? You could build one up front.
Whoa.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, we could.
let's see, we had talked about that can of worms.
Yeah, no, I like this one. I like this.
Goes back to
But it
Jason
could- I mean-
Cecil, I'm sorry.
I don't know
Your points
where-
about the accessibility are spot on. I mean, over here in front, we have potential.
The stairs would
precepts that gotta
limit
come up.
people
Yep.
to approach of course, we could print it on poster board and it could be easily read from the front door, but that
I like-
seems excessive
People
and
aren't over
expensive.
here to come in that door,
Right,
they need to.
right. It'll still be available on the website. We will still email, agendas out like we currently do. Sorry.
Are you the lawful custodian?
Yes.
All right.
All
Answer that.
On my old office up on Main Street, because I was right by the post office, remember that, you've seen it, Cal, I got the glass cabinet. I used to put menus from the pork and beef industries. There's a nice post thing like that, maybe we could put something outside somewhere.
On the door seems to be pretty,
Stick it on the window.
Put it on the door so you can come up any time of the day or night, it's there.
Stick a green on the window, like that's what she said.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
Looks like
Real
this.
simple.
Cost effective. Cost a piece of cake every week.
I mean, we have some of those cases, like what Sherry has outside of her door. We do have a couple of those. I'm not sure how weather resistant they'll be to rain and that kind of thing.
Mine stood up
Because
pretty good.
the front opens up, so there's probably
I think you,
not,
I don't know, mine might have been what made for the outdoors, so the wife ordered it, so I did. Where she got, I don't know, I was just trying to think, we could do the window thing, this is not professional.
right? No, I get that.
Cost effective.
Cost effective,
Matters
yes.
too.
Yeah.
I'd be curious about what you're talking about. Maybe Natalie remembers or can access that invoice or something.
Dude, the
And I
kiosk
can
up
do
front,
some.
do they do have any advertising on them or anything? Or do they just always just say what they say?
Yeah, just check in.
Just check in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus, that would be ADS.
Put it across there.
Accessible all the time. It's only during the hours of the courthouse. And this is intended to be on a Saturday. If somebody wants to know, they can find out.
Right,
Sunday
Right.
afternoon, out for a walk,
Right.
walk by the courthouse, it's all locked
Yeah.
up, but I can still have access
and
to
just
when the
darn
meeting is.
tech savvy and don't
Right.
explore the internet or don't get on websites and
Got it
things
off
like that.
Uline, outdoor display.
Uline, okay, I'll do some research on that.
And we can probably add or adjust down the road, but
Right.
gets us going.
Right, absolutely.
That makes us follow the resolution
Yeah.
that's been passed.
And
by
then in the
state of
future,
Iowa.
we'll add this resolution to your January proceedings and make it annual that way. That
Okay.
way it's not, because this is kind of an odd time if you're to establish something like this, but necessary this year, so.
What's the timeframe that has to be accomplished? I didn't see that.
Chairman.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2026-24, designating official physical posting location. Public meeting.
And just so everyone knows, I guess that in the resolution, it states the glass exterior door facing outward on the east side of the Crawford County Courthouse located at 1202 Broadway, Denison, Iowa, visible and accessible to the public 24 hours. a day.
And internet posting.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll
that's
continue to do
section
that.
two. Yes.
Yeah,
Second,
Motion and a second. Further discussion. Ty?
And just want you to remember that we're just using a window on a door, and that's why I think we need to look at more.
Yeah.
Is because, we're out there every week, our meeting, but there's other meetings, like the EMA has meetings, Conference Board has meetings, I mean, everybody posts them. We always put them on these bulletin boards, I understand what they have it visible in off-duty hours as well, so.
and this is just for the Crawford County Board of Supervisors.
It's just for us,
Yes,
and for all the meetings.
nope,
And then maybe the window's good.
State
I
continues
was just
to
thinking
pick on
about
us,
everything.
Ty.
I
they
think
just-
that if they are held to the standards of open meetings in chapter 21, I do believe,
They will have to designate their own.
They'll have to do their own.
maybe Colin knows more about that, I don't know, but
Look into it.
That's why I think if we got a display case, we probably take care of everybody that works for the county.
We have a motion to second. Any further discussion? No, those in favor say aye.
resolution,
I'm sorry, resolution, yes, thank you.
no problem.
Kyle?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Ty?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. On to cybersecurity, MOU, is that what that says? Is that why Ryan's here?
Yes.
There's really not much to discuss, it's just the state's signed this again for all of our antivirus, they provide it to us free of charge. So we have to sign it and use it, it's a phenomenal product. It's what we've used as far as I know for a very long time, and
So the state provides it?
Nice. I like that, John.
Oh, that's
Is it
for all they
like
take from
PII
us, I'm in favor of that, make the
One
motion.
of those, yeah.
But, yeah, it's a phenomenal product, it's what we use on absolutely everything here.
So it's just a memorandum of understanding, just kind of like.
Sign a new agreement that just says, oh, really all it says is, it's upon us to install it and maintain it on the computer, but, as part of the agreement, they offer 24-hour SOC. So they monitor 24 hours a day, so if any happening going on at 3 AM, they will need to.
So do we have a motion to approve the, what is it, 4-year 27 cybersecurity memorandum of understanding with the state of Iowa? Motion by Dave, second by Gene. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Move on to Verizon lease agreement. Colin, that's you?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Well, it was me and Zach. We talked beforehand, so he's not here, but, so, as you recall, there was much discussion about Verizon lease on our tower. That was back and forth negotiated by, mostly Zach, and the board wanted an out, for itself. If you recall, it was many months ago.
Yep.
So we've been working with Verizon, they ran it by their legal team, we have it back now. It is.
What do you think of it?
Well, it's what the board wanted. Now, I will say that the release term they agreed to is fairly onerous on the county. It's a 2-year notice to get out of the lease. If on the county's side, for them, it's much less than that. For them, it's 30 days. But, and out is better than no out. And then other than that, there was some discussion and back and forth between what the rate increase would be, what if it would be annually, or if it would be every 5-year step. It's an annual increase is what was negotiated, at the rate negotiated by Zach.
Did they give you an explanation of why we're a 2-year out and they're only 30 days?
They gotta build a new tower or locate a new tower, we don't.
What did we ask for from them? Where did we start negotiation at? That we ended up in 2 years, I guess. I'm just curious. We tried to get, remember as a board, what we asked that, I remember us saying we at least just wanted it in the contract to give us that ability to leave. Because it wasn't in there before. But I don't remember what we asked them to try to negotiate, the number of days or length of time.
Looking back through my email chain with the Verizon rep.
Part out, I'm not saying it's not the same, like I'm saying, not successfully where they had control of the tower.
Yes. Yeah, and there was even at one point then discussing just a one-time lump sum payment. Remember that discussion? I mean, that
Right.
that's not there.
I mean, what do you think would be a reason that we would want to give them notice? That we don't, that somebody would, some other company would come to us and offer us a far better deal, or what would be a reason that we would want to give them notice?
I'd say that, or if we had to do some type of major upgrade to our communication system and needed the space ourselves.
Something for us, or if we were actually gonna move the tower completely.
Uh,
Space needle.
But those aren't anything, I guess, on our radar to do right now.
I can't
just
imagine
curious.
why we would, I mean, the money would be of interest, obviously.
But I don't foresee a reason that we'd wanna move a tower. Do you foresee a reason why we'd ever wanna move a tower?
2 years. Kurt.
I don't rule anything out ever. I'm not saying we do. I mean, I have no reason at this point, but who knows? You know, I mean, never limit future boards is always.
Right, exactly.
Well,
And
yeah,
this doesn't. It gives them an option. I'm glad that we have the option available.
2 years seems like a long time, but. Well, I know.
Well, if they had to relocate, I mean, having dealt with tower construction already previously in my life,
You're kind of our tower
it
person.
takes a long time to deal with that stuff, even just relocate for them. So I can see why they would want that. Don't seem necessarily that we have to agree with it, but I can see why they'd want it.
If they know how many towers we have around it, they could.
Well, this one services the Denison with 5G, I suspect, so.
All right.
No,
Anything else, Colin, I guess, about the contract that jumps out at you or
No,
we
it's
need to
the
be
same
made
that you
aware
guys
of?
have been-
We
Same.
have worked on this a
It
long
gives us
time.
our out if
Yep.
we want,
Yep.
I know it's a little longer.
Exactly.
than anything, But
Yep.
Yep.
So I guess I would entertain a motion to approve this Verizon lease agreement.
So moved.
second,
Motion by Kyle, second by Dave. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
I-
Opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries. We'll move on to moratorium on data center permitting and construction. This was put on the agenda by Ty, I guess, and so with that, Colin, you have been working on a data center ordinance for us, for the board. And I guess I'll start out with Ty and have you maybe give some thoughts as to what you were thinking, wanted to have this on the agenda for the day.
well, my first thought was like with the southeast wind tower field that already had the permit started. And when we made the ordinance to satisfy wind turbines or the permitting to satisfy wind turbines, we didn't have we had to write them a stipulation to do whatever they were already started. And when I was in one of my recent meetings, it was actually on data centers and it was actually a webinar conducted by, it was more of a Zoom meeting, but it was conducted by one of the commissioners out in Loudoun County, Virginia. And he said that a lot of the data center information that is being used out there across the negative information that's being used out across the country about data centers, sorry, got both things in my head here, it comes from their original data centers or some other big ones that didn't have regulation in place prior to them being, and they were just at large built, or they were just at buy, or however you call that, where we just build it how you see fit, basically. And I think we need to have our ordinance in place before anybody would ever talk to us, if anybody's interested in talking to us. And I would like to suggest no more than 3 months. I don't think a 6 month. We've all been in government long enough, and we witnessed the rest of government, including our state. We got a whole session to work on property tax, and we finally get busy on it on the last week into the session. So I don't want to see something like that happen here. I want to get on this and get it done. I think it's important. I think actually linking into the outside world, and this would actually help us if we can find something that works with what we want to protect our citizenry. I think these are the things that we need to be evaluating. So I would like us to put a moratorium in place. Like I said, no more than 3 months. If you guys want a month, you think we can do it in a month? If you think we can do it in 2, 3, but I seen where.
What you're just wanting to do is to prevent a data center from coming in prior to us having an ordinance.
Correct. That way we don't have to deal with Loudoun Did where they're having to go back and try to restrict the amount of electricity that goes to them or restrict the amount of water usage. Technology is way different than when that happened. That was back in the 90s. You know, so there's a lot different going on, but I still think that we need to have a good ordinance in place. You know, and that was the other thing that the commissioner actually said. The final decision on whether or not an ordinance or a data center or anything else gets built in the county, that's questionable anyway, should sit with this board, this elected board. So I think that needs to make sure that's in the ordinance.
So the process, and Colin will walk us through, I guess, an ordinance does, as far as requiring public hearing, posting, how many passages, you know, 2 or 3 passages. It takes us some time. Ty was just thinking of a 3-month moratorium where we would have that all done in place. So at least we would have a data center would come in here prior to us having an ordinance.
Right. And then if things go faster than that, then the board can just vote to lift the moratorium. You only need 6 weeks instead of.
Realistically, we get an ordinance in place in a month, 3 months.
Well,
Close.
I got the second draft of one, and then I'll probably go through another draft, and then we bounce it by our utility, because that's kind of baked into the policy, the sample ordinance that circulated the last time we talked about it. There was a preference expressed towards, looping in our local utilities and having them part of it. So anything that the board, with the ultimate final form, would, and you'd be bouncing through multiple parts. And I'm just saying that because all takes time. So 3 months is probably what it would take. I'm just saying that even if it went super speed, you know, it's not like we have to sit on our thumbs for the full 3 months.
Right.
Mhm.
So then there'd be no problem with doing it for 6, just in case we're just about there, that we wouldn't have.
Yeah, there's nothing that moves us along.
Right.
That's why I don't, if I go.
And you could extend it if at
Yeah,
the end
you can
of
always
3 months,
extend
you
it
could
too.
always extend it.
We can always
I'm
extend
with
it.
you though, Ty, I don't wanna kick it down the road.
No,
I mean, from the people I talk to, I mean, you get people on both sides, ones that are absolutely against it, ones that are for it, but the majority of people that I talk to said, yeah, have a good ordinance in place, work with your, local utilities, get their input, so it is beneficial to all.
that might take some time.
Any other thoughts, Kyle?
No, I think this second draft is pretty close.
I have paper.
I
copies
think
if anybody
it
wants
could
one.
pass today and be workable. I think there's a few tweaks that can be adjusted yet, but
Steph, you're here,
we're
man, how do you
pretty
feel like that
far along,
process is coming?
when we get to the moratorium, I see on the Facebook this morning how Woodbury County Supervisors are getting chastised for putting a moratorium on now. But
They did that for data centers in Woodbury
Yeah.
County?
because they're fighting with the Salix debacle right now. But the reason they're getting chastised is, I think, the way I gathered is they didn't understand what the word moratorium meant. So make it sound like they're getting their pockets lined.
Stephanie, yeah, we've got Stephanie here. I guess entertain your thoughts also on this.
I think it's important that we know what's missing or what needs to be accomplished in the ordinance to
Good point.
finish it, you know? You see it all the time, the moratorium is the kick the can, the what it be, the longer those sit out there, the more we look like we're not interested.
So do you think the moratorium, if passed, gives that initial thought that, hey, we're just not, we don't know what's going on, or it doesn't give the thought that, hey, they want to make sure they have the right thing in place? It's thought of differently by different people.
It's pretty much the no factor. If they look and you have the moratorium, you are crossed off and they go to the next one.
That makes a different thought.
Well, I will tell you,
They're looking for who wants to work with them now, right? But we need our rules in place. We definitely need to put things in place. So I think it's more of
So,
identifying exactly what we still need to know so that we're looking
Colin,
for that information.
given our current, where we're at in the process, how long do you think it would take to get us through? You've got the second writing, I guess. Stephanie, have you seen it yet or not? Or Colin's?
Briefly.
Briefly,
just-
okay.
yeah.
Okay, so how long do you
So
think it would take?
where we're at,
We just-
specifically,
we
where
don't
we're
do
at right
nothing.
now
Yep.
is incorporating the suggestions provided by the board into the preferred ordinance structure, which was identified last time. So the one that you emailed out. I've incorporated provisions from DMU about and it's in red in the hard print or in when I circulated out, what their preferred language would be as far as water utility. I worked with staff and Ty's already been working with staff to identify kind of the county's initial positions. I've incorporated the suggestions and limitations or the additional sections from the alternative ordinance.
Kyle
And so-
had some input.
And Kyle, and I've tried to incorporate some of that. So what would be next would be having you guys review the second draft, giving feedback a second time, incorporating that feedback again, circulating that out to the utilities, having them provide feedback, and then me sitting back here and doing this again.
And then the approval process of the ordinance is by public hearing. We have to have a public hearing, post it 4 to 20 days. And have how many, up to 3 readings?
I believe so.
Yep.
Right?
You can waive them, you can vote to
Right.
waive them, but otherwise it's, you can pass it on the third reading or after.
Okay, yeah, Dave?
Just a question, I don't mean to speak for Ty, but I think to Ty's concern of other counties in the United States or commissioners, we're, of course, we're working on this, we want our ordinance to move through fast, but is there any way, not that we have a data center when it could be here tomorrow, but just so that we can show that, hey, we're working on an ordinance, but we're open for business, but yet it has to be fair, not to have somebody come in and try to get ahead of an ordinance. Is there any way without having an outright moratorium?
Stephanie, you look like you haven't thought
I
about
was gonna
that.
say, most of them aren't gonna contact us directly, right? They're gonna look up and see if you have it, and it's gonna move on. That's the problem. You don't get a chance to explain yourself where you're at.
That's the way site selectors work.
Yep.
I mean, just the people that are looking are site selectors. They're not even the company that's building most of it. I mean, there might be some smaller companies they do their own site selection, but for the most part, site selectors are.
So data centers hire the site selectors?
Correct.
Is that how that works?
Correct.
Yeah, go out and check all the infrastructure, do all the studies for them, see where we can go.
They don't have those people in-house that do
Some
that?
do.
Okay.
Steph, do you think they research and look into like our meeting minutes to know that we're working on an ordinance? Or, I mean, that's hard to say.
They're looking at 5, 6, 7 states at a time, right?
Right.
So they're looking to check the box.
We got 100 counties.
It's, if you don't have a relationship with them, they're probably not gonna ask. That's the problem.
Good to know. I didn't know that.
Just the other
Most
point is,
developments that way.
we are working on unincorporated areas, so, I mean, if somebody wanted to come into one of the city limits of our.
Right, that's a good point, Kyle.
And they say, well, they have no ordinance against them here in XYZ town. This ordinance will not.
Affected incorporated area, right.
That's exactly right. I will tell you that I'm not 100% for the moratorium. I think you just need to get busy, get to work. But because there's been all this question, I don't want anybody to doubt our sincerity on trying to accomplish something that's protecting the citizens of Crawford County. I've already talked to Steph ad nauseum about electric, and I've got multiple classes. In fact, I got another one yesterday over the phone on how the billing is all set and peaked and how that will help reduce. And when I'm talking to her, I don't necessarily talk for DMU, Denison's, because DMU controls there. So Steph can only tell me about Steph's work. But I don't believe DMU or Mid-America's is going to be all that much different than how you operate. Is that correct?
We all need steady load.
Okay. So the load part, where you got peak, that's where you get billed on, and then you got your steady load. Anyway, I'm not going to try to give her class, but I mean, to me, I understood what she was saying, how this could actually help lower for our farmers. It could actually help because they will put on all their own infrastructure. All the transmission lines and all that stuff that has to support them, we can negotiate from the county's perspective, how they want roads done, they're paying for it. You know, if they wanted a concrete road out to where they're at, you know, yes, fine, you're paying for it. We got to get busy on doing the development. I mean, and most of them, they concur with those. my knowledge, actually all of them have concurred with those things. And that's the message I'm getting from all the supervisors and commissioners across the country I'm talking to as well. So it sounds like they're good business partners. Here's what I love about data centers. Every one of them sustainable without any kind of subsidy. Now, that's what I love about them, is because we ain't got to throw extra tax dollars to make sure that they're a long-term viability. There's things that I'm questioning, and I've been questioning the heck out of it all across. And we have our annual conference next month. There's data center classes out the wazoo on that. You bet I'll be talking with the guy from Loudoun County in person out there. So, I mean, I'm trying to make sure that Crawford County is open for business. It brings in the trunk lines. I talked to Steph about that last night. That could bring in other IT industry, industrial, what's my word? Automated manufacturing.
What's my word?
Yeah, she throws a lot of information at me. So I have to go back to Google and start researching things after we're done. But I'm verifying it, sorry, don't take offense to that. But the things that it can bring with it is actually probably what we want long-term, because that if you get that big fiber optics line in, now all of a sudden you're appealing to other industry. So when people complain about, oh, you're only going to get a few jobs with this, that's true. But also Smithfield and Monogram and Peterson's and everybody else don't want us to have a 1,500 person or a 2,500 person employee just jumping in here right now. So we want to build gradual, and a lot of these tech companies that might be following it would be that 25 to 50, maybe even only 10. So let's say 10 to 50 people, and then down the road, you might be able to get bigger ones. I don't know, like that guy I talked to for me that time. Just different things that are available, but we have to do something that starts to make us more appealing. I was talking about it earlier. I was kind of getting to it. Why aren't these people from New York that said, I'm out of here? Why aren't they coming to Iowa? Why are they all busting to Florida? I get that it's nice and sunshiny, but they ain't been afraid of snow for their entire life already. Why are they afraid of it all of a sudden? I mean, sure, taxes makes a big deal, but already the governor and the legislature's moved us down to 3.75, whatever it is. Anyway, on income tax, property tax, they've already kind of scalped us pretty hard there. So we need to actually bring in some industry to make sure that Crawford isn't a ghost town eventually. It probably won't happen in our turn, but it could happen in our kids or grandkids' turns. So I mean, we want to make sure that we're looking at these things. Now, we want to exhaust what damage it could be, like the PFAS, but can we work into the ordinance, Steph? Is there any of them others that are like, you have to be closed loop to come to Crawford County?
I think it goes back into either there's closed loop or you got your mix that are air cooled and stuff. I think those are okay because your small ones might still be that way, but then you've got yourself covered by the noise ordinance. They're not going to use water, but then you check the other box, the noise, so we still check our box.
Okay. Everybody have to track what she's saying there, like the Bitcoin one that's loud. But I mean, the other night I was sitting on my back deck and I'm listening. I go, oh, there's a grain bin down in the bottom, the Craigle's grain bin. That sounded like it was the neighbors. I mean, it was a still night. So it made it sound like it was, so we got all kinds of ambient noise out there. There's stuff out there all over. So, I mean, I would hate to tell somebody, don't bring revenue to our community, don't bring jobs, don't bring future potential to our community simply because we've heard something. I want to know. So that's why I went and sat at data centers, see if I could hear them. Couldn't even hear them over the highway. So I'm going to say, we already got all this noise. So this comes in and helps. You see what I'm getting at? So, but the moratorium, if we do one of these, I mean, it shows our citizenry that we're serious about this. But on the other hand, we don't want to, I mean, I don't know how hard people are looking at it. So anyway, that's why I just wanted to bring it.
Anybody else from the board have any input? Otherwise, I'd like to open it up to the public, either in person or online. I'm sure that's why people are here. I'll start with the people in person. Thank you for coming. Is there any thoughts or anything that anybody else would like to add?
My question, just an honest question, is if we didn't have it in place yet and somebody wanted to come in, wouldn't that go under a special use permit, or we'd still be able to check all the boxes?
It wouldn't be the Wild West, yeah. I mean, there'd still be,
We'd still
there'd
have
be
the
some
ability to say
administration
yes, no.
on top of it, yes.
through the zoning commission.
Yep.
But do we have all, like in our special needs, I mean, does it give? I don't know. I've never worked on one of them since the special.
A special use permit?
I haven't worked on one of them. We did do the one for turbines. But I mean, and what, did we do 60? What did we do? You mean for sound?
Oh, I think it was in the upper forties, wasn't it? Like 45, or did we go, or is that where we were at?
That was at the house, maybe.
Yeah.
And I thought we also did something at property lines.
You might have did both.
Yeah.
So the special use permit kind of answers my question that I asked you, I think, what, a couple of weeks ago, was can you pass an ordinance to cover everything? And that would be that special use permit that they would have to go through.
Kind of ad hoc as.
Right.
Yeah.
Anybody out there in Zoom land have any question or input that they would like to offer? Now would be your time. Cindy?
Well, I have two questions, I guess. You're talking about transmission lines and needing to add those for the electricity. How would that work? Is that eminent domain? Or what are we looking at as far as the length of them, and how does that work?
I think from what I've been checking into, Cindy, and maybe, as far as the eminent domain goes, it's a utility, so there's potential for that. But I don't know, we don't know where they would be. So, I mean, it's hard to say where it would place and who might be in instruction. But as far as it goes, I think that there could be potential for eminent domain if you can't find people that get along. But it sounds to me like, they'll be pretty decent to work with. So I don't think that it would be.
I mean, as long as, if it's currently on a county road.
Yeah.
The county has the easement for utilities on
Correct.
either side of the road, so I wouldn't think there would be an eminent domain issue.
I wouldn't think so.
As long as it's on a county road. If it's out in the middle of a field, I guess that you have to put,
Well, I think if you were
you
buying
would think you would
something
own the person would own the property that would be doing that. But I guess that's a good question, Cindy. I don't know. I'm just trying to think out loud, I guess. I don't think it would be an issue, but I suppose it could.
I imagine if it was on private property, that easement would be part of the purchase.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
they would never be part of like the
Right.
major transmission lines that go from the power source to, like Kyle's got one that runs across his field there.
Correct, if you don't mind, I can answer.
Yeah, yes.
Thanks. So Cindy, with that, most of the time it's gonna be an upgrade to what's already existent. It will, be higher class poles and wires to go with that. The others are done through an easement, and Michael, you can add to that if you'd like to, from the operations standpoint, how those easements are done.
Yeah, most of the easements have already been in place since possibly 1930s, and prior to that, when the co-ops and the transmissions came through. So the majority of all the stuff, and I'm only speaking on the WIPCO side, would be using existing easements. If we did have to go out for easement, it would be on the low voltage side, so we're looking at it building in 3-phase power like we would normally do, and we'd have to get an easement or go on the county right away.
Yeah.
And you're talking
Today for Western Iowa Network. Yep. Yeah, go ahead, Cindy.
I'm sorry, and you're talking this would be by the current substations that we have in Crawford, or are we thinking about building a brand new substation?
That's another question for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, depending on size, Cindy, if it's a very small one like that, it might fit into the footprint we already have. Either it might fit into capacity today, or expanding that site, but if you get into these ones that are like medium scale, things like that, most of those would be a new substation built specifically for them at their cost.
And that could be done anywhere in the county, not just necessarily where our current substations are at.
Correct.
That is correct. It would have to follow transmission line. The further away you get from that, the more cost and things like that, and it's harder to do redundancy and backup too, but it would follow something that we have today more than likely with a new substation being built at their cost, securing the land, all those types of things. And all of that would then be owned by our transmission and G&T, which would be NEPCO.
So they would pay for it, but you guys, it's yours.
Yep,
Okay.
which in the end means it's It's ours.
Kind of like our gravel roads, when we go from a B to an A, they pay for the gravel initially, but then it's still our road, and then, well, on their property. Or it's in our.
Good question.
Do we answer your question, Cindy? Anything else?
Yeah, one other question too.
Okay.
The ordinance that you're working on, would it be possible to put that on the Crawford County website so that people can start reading it? Or is that more when you get it completed before the public hearing? I mean, they could give suggestions to you. It might save some time in the long run because you get your suggestions from the public before it kind of got into its final form. So the hearings might go a little bit smoother. I don't know.
Any thoughts on that? I guess, Colin, what are you?
I mean, if someone was here and wanted to request a copy from the open records, I'd hand them one right now.
Yeah,
Right.
And so it's no different than putting it on the board. It's just, and we give it to Ryan or give it to
We
Terry.
can find a place for it
email
easily.
Yeah, we could give it to Ryan and Ryan could post it on the website and anybody that had any input then could, I guess, call one of us or.
Cindy, I also want you to be aware that it's not our finalized draft either.
Right.
So I don't want.
But we can
people-
title it such that
Right.
it's
Yeah.
as draft
Draft.
or
You know, that
whatever.
this is.
Right, just a
working
draft,
on something.
exactly.
Work on it.
Think that that's
Yeah.
exactly what's
Right.
gonna happen.
No, you guys might be getting some phone calls with input. Hopefully people
We have.
are,
one.
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
good. That's a good sign.
Yep, people are paying attention.
Excellent. That's all I had. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it, Cindy. Anybody else out in Zoom land or? Don't see anybody. Think anybody else in person?
I mean, as supervisors, we get, what I've been following on the other counties are danged if you do, danged if you don't. I mean, we're trying to look out for the best interest to find that mix. And, I hope that everybody realizes that's what we're working. We have nothing in place now. So we couldn't stop anything from happening currently.
That's why the
I mean,
moratorium.
we'd be very limited to, by getting an ordinance in place, we at least set the playing field and say, hey, if you come here, this is what we expect. And I think, so we're looking out for the citizens.
I think the moratorium does that, and I think if we just let it, that we're looking, and if somebody's searching, you would hope that if they don't find the right location, they'd come back and look and at least give us an opportunity, but I'd rather have a moratorium than just let somebody come in that time period where we're trying to get this perfect, and all of a sudden we've got something that's not desirable because we were trying to get the perfect thing. Does that make sense?
Question for, can I ask a?
Yeah, go ahead, Ty.
Who's coming in here without going through you?
As far as needing.
Out in our county? I mean, they're gonna have to know they get the electric, right?
Mhm.
Who's coming in here without going through DMU or rural water? There's only two of them. I mean, at least with
No,
you,
they have
there's
to
like,
come to us first.
so they gotta check with your power. So basically, I mean, I don't wanna put the county's security in your hands, but I do know that you're devoted to the county you currently live in. So, I mean, if we didn't have a moratorium, I mean, they're not gonna build anything unless they've already come to talk to you.
Right, they'd have to go through studies with us for everything too. It all takes time.
Yeah.
Cause that's who those site selectors, they contact your company first
Usually.
or DMU
Yeah,
first.
they'll start at the G&Ts and start going down to the levels.
So you think if the site selectors seen that we passed a moratorium?
They wouldn't even call you.
All right.
They won't call me
Yeah.
because.
See, to
they
me,
know
that
there's
kind of
not this
convinced
thing.
me that,
That's my fear.
right.
And then who goes back and checks that list later? You've already been checked off.
I'm glad you came
And
today.
they probably won't come back because there are
Just like us.
4,063 counties in America, or counties, parishes and whatnot.
Or if they're looking at 7 and 8 states, you know, we're competing with 99 other counties in Iowa, let alone how many counties are in those other states.
And I don't want to be in a rush on this. I want to get this right.
Right.
But I also don't want to limit our ability. You know, from what I've been reading on this research, I mean, NVIDIA, I actually told the wife, go buy some NVIDIA. has got a new chip for the AI part of the tech for these data centers that uses, I'm pretty sure I read this right, 1,000 times less water and 1,000 times less electricity. Which blew my mind. I thought, well, that can't be right. If it's right, buy it in video, you know? So I mean, I'm just saying, and we could Google it, probably find out right now. But if they're working on that tech, that means that they're continuously working to build these things more efficient for themselves as well. So I think that if we had stuff in the ordinance to where, and I've seen where Loudoun County has actually went back and now they actually working with the power companies are restricting to some of them that were big power users. They're getting restricted to percentage, and it's the same thing on the water side. So that's slowed them down. And I mean, we want to be able to let these people do their job to the full potential that they build these centers for, if they would come in here and build it. So I mean, obviously, we're going to have direct lines of communication with WIPCO or DMU or, and I don't, you know, like this, a lot of the complaints I've been getting are from more of the people that live in town are worried about the noise or something right next to them. And they come, what's the noise that's not like, there's that your brain hears that the rest of your ears don't. You know what I'm talking about?
White sound?
What's that?
White sound?
White sound, is that what it is? It don't sound right. Yeah. But there's another thing that,
Oh, tinnitus.
well, if you're at a real high pitched voice, I can't hear you over my type tinnitus, I get that. But the, I mean, there's some of them think, if it's real close, but I think if we have that 1,000-foot setback, I think that's not gonna cover Denison anyway. The people that are upset there need to go call Denison.
That's right.
But I think if we have a 1,000-foot setback, you think that's too restrictive?
I don't think you need the setback, you need the noise. What do they do within the noise for the distance they're looking at? You see some of them are very close to, in some areas,
Right.
close to residential, because they can do that. It looked like a modern day warehouse and they're all closed loop. They're quieter than your own air conditioner.
Yeah. But you know, I almost told Kyle on that fan the other night, bring your little tester over here, because I don't have a tester. So
I'll do it tonight.
Okay. But you know, I almost did that just to see what that noise was from what we already have in place. I mean, I'm not complaining about that fan in particular. It didn't bother me a bit. But you know, the only thing is that noise that I don't hear with my ear, you know, they're talking about, you know, and even Loudoun County mentioned it. So I mean, I know it must be a real thing. So I'm concerned about that a little here.
Is it noise, Ty, if you can't hear it?
It's like that, you know, I don't know what it is.
Oh, infrasound, Karen just posted it. Is it infrasound?
Infrasound, that sounds right.
Okay.
Thank you, Karen. So I mean, I don't know how you test for that.
Right, I mean, if you're comparing noise, like average home noise is 40. If you look at office noise inside your car going 60 miles an hour, that's 70.
Yeah.
That noise you hear going down the road, that's 70. And that's what you're comparing to. Is there noise there? Yeah. You go, when you drive the whole time, you go, gosh, I wish that noise would go away. You just know it's there, right?
And the only reason that infra noise bothers me is because I don't know what it is.
Right.
So is it something, you know, I do know I had some family that was real close to the substation and a turbine up where they live. And they literally said that they would get nauseous from alcohol too. Maybe she got, you know, I don't know. But something, you get something in your head.
So
Believe it to be true. But
I think it begs the question, kind of, Colin, I guess, where are we at with the next reading or the next, have you updated, revised? Where are we at with that?
I would say I have hard copies and I've emailed everything out. I would say review it, get back to me, we can do this weekly if you wanted to. And or as, I mean, we could try to, of course, people would have to have, again, the cycle is review by the board, incorporation of comments and concerns, out to the utilities for comment and review, back to me, back to you.
I mean, I'm okay with that process. To me, I mean, I'll just say that, I guess initially, I was kind of in favor of a moratorium, and then after, I'm glad Stephanie came today and gave us that input, because I think that's crucial to hear that, because we are open for business. And so well, I'm just glad that she was here. I mean, I'm not in favor of a moratorium. I think we're in the process of getting an ordinance in place and we can just continue on with that process. We're not in negotiation, as far as I know, this board isn't with any data center. No utility company in the county has contacted us and said, hey, I've been in discussion, we're looking, what are you gonna do for an ordinance? Because that really will depend on them coming or not, what it says. We're not to that point. So I just think we should just continue down the path as we're going.
It's closer every time it's.
Yeah, Dave.
And I do, I mean, I agree with you too, where how I came into this and thank you for coming stuff, but I also want to kick the can down the road. I think it's utmost important to get our ordinance in place. And we kind of already have, they gotta go through WIPCO, they gotta go through DMU, there's a process now anyways, but it'll keep, I guess, our foot to the pedal to get this stuff. Yep.
Yeah, and if we put it on the agenda every week, that makes us as a board read through the ordinances and bring any changes. It makes the public understand that, hey, if I want to get any input, they're going to have it on this week on the agenda. I need to call a member of the board and give them my concerns about what was posted.
Get it on the website.
And so I think that's the best way to proceed with it.
Can I forward this to people that want it?
I guess you should ask Colin that question, but I think you should be able to.
Did you receive it in an email?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I forward this to people that requested?
Of course, yeah, I mean, like I said, if someone was here and they wanted a hard copy, I would provide them one, the open records, so. There's nothing about this that has been deemed confidential under the open records rules. I mean, I'm not saying that we can't ever get there, especially if a company were to come in with some type of trade secret or something like that, but where we're sitting at right now, yeah, it's fine. But.
So is everybody in a consensus, that's okay? So there'll be no motion or no action taken
No
on
action
that.
taken, put it on the agenda next week.
We'll just have it on the agenda for next week. Continued discussion on data center permitting, construction and ordinance, I think would be the
Keep it
thing
on
to
there.
put it on there. Perfect. Okay, so we'll move on to citizens input. Anybody here in person? Sherry?
I want to go back to the conversation we had a little bit at the table. I went and checked and we have 4.4 million right now that we have to work with. So this year it's really not an issue. My concern is it could become an issue in the future. And because we already discussed it, I just feel like more discussion needs to be had for somebody to say, this is what I'm looking at. Can we extend this out to pay until August? Our CDs are bringing in between $40,000 and $60,000 for each CD. That's free money the county's getting. If we have to lose one of those, that's how much money we're losing on each CD.
And you said we have one CD per month that you renew, so that 40 to 60 grand is every month. Yeah.
$500,000.
Yeah. Significant,
Yeah,
very significant.
I'll make a point to go talk to them.
Okay.
Thank you, Kyle. I don't know what his situation is, and I'm.
If he's just asking, it might just be a thing to just ask. I just don't know that that's happening, and that's all I'm asking.
Has he not come and talked to you or you did?
I wouldn't talk to him right when he took over because this was an issue before.
Over a year ago, so we just need to bring it back to his attention or whatever. Like I said, maybe, I don't know what the situation is. Maybe there's
You'll
something
find out.
that's out of his control or
Yep.
whatever.
If they got it down too deep.
But we can definitely make it manageable and move it off a month or two, that'd be great.
You're gonna touch.
I'll go touch it.
Anything
This
else?
is an alternative source of revenue, so it's
It
important.
is, it's very important.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And we give Sherry credit. I mean, we weren't doing that before and it's being done now. As far as the money that it's earning, we didn't do that. I know before, I think when I got on the board is when that really just started.
The rates are
Sherry,
extraordinary right now.
right,
I mean, they've been
started
really well,
negotiating.
so.
She does the negotiation with the banks, gets us a better rate sometimes than what they are advertising. So it's
Well,
important.
$1 million is pretty tempting to have sitting in the bank for a year, so.
Anything else? Anybody out that is online have any citizens input, anything they'd like to share with the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'd make that motion.
Motion by Ty,
I'll second.
second by Gene. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Thank you everyone for coming.